the test matches, I think Joe Root's obviously welcome return to runs, if not to form, will take a little bit of pressure off. We've seen that he of the Fab Four is now.
And we are back, and we hope the West Indies reply is a little more efficient than the representatives of the West Indies commentary, who went out for some chicken and haven't been seen since. So they've presumably got waylaid somehow on the mean streets of Sydenham. Shy Hope, of course, will open for the West Indies.
The unexpected long queue in the dirty chicken shop.
The dirty chicken shop. I don't think it's actually called that. I'm not sure they would. And it looks like West India are going to open with Deepak Chahar. Remember, India made 287 for 8. A very slow and ponderous start and middle section, but then kept going. And so 5.76, the required run rate. Chahar is just wandering through his warm up. Knuckle, you want me to jingle? Feel free, jingle away.
Deepak Chahar, Fleming loved the sky. Deepak Chahar, he bowled a few sky high. Did they come down? He somehow bowled his way to success.
Well, he does, and he gets some swing there, just a little bit, shaping in to Shy Hope, the right-hander, and there's no run. Yes, far away, Knuckles on his knees, as if in worship to the jingle machine.
Shay ho, shay ho, shay, shay ho, shay ho, shay ho, shay ho,
Yes.
Shay ho.
Shay Hope it is. And his partner in crime will be this man when we get to him, but he's not facing it. Hope, ooh, got in a right old tangle there. That one really hurried up Shy Hope and was through to punt behind the stumps there. He just seemed to get an ugly shot. What was he doing? He seemed to, it swung away, so a real bit of a way swing. Well, it just went between bat and pad. And no footwork at all. I think he just got a bit surprised, A, by the movement off the pitch and the swing, and B, just beaten for pace, I think. Well bowled Chahar. Yeah, far away, Knuckle. Oh, well, after this ball, probably. Right arm over in, and a flamingo leave from Hope through to pump behind the stumps.
He hit his own wicket, he hit his own wicket. 2 tests in a row, this guy hit his own wicket. For some reason, he's still playing cricket, so an ambrose is somewhat self-sabotaging.
Indeed. No, yet to get off the mark, the West Indies. Time, not really the issue. 5.7 or so, the run rate. Fairly leisurely. And again, well bowled by Chahar. This one moved away from the right-handed Hope, who just a little fenced it and prodded it away to point. So no runs off this first over so far. 287 for 8, remember. The scores on the doors from the India.
Was that the Horde returning?
Is that the chicken hunters?
Yes.
I wouldn't send them out hunting if I needed to do anything in a hurry. Chahar turns at the top of his mark, rumbles in, and pixelates rather badly on the TV in front of me, and that again is just a way to point and no run. 287 for 8. Hope and Ambrose, they have something in common. Jason, do you know what they have in common? Apart from the both Hope.
Debuted at the same ground?
No. Recently, or comparatively recently, though, both made their highest ODI scores against Ireland. As Chahar is in, and Knuckle, we might need some remedial work on the on the stream here, as this one is left alone outside of the off stump, and there is no run. You can't do anything about satellites.
Knuckle is not omnipotent.
Omnipotent Knuckle.
He might be omniscient.
I'm
Certainly
that-
about all
I'm
things
sure there'd be a
cricket.
rush of volunteers to send you up to go and have a look at one, Knuckle. We
And
could try.
There's no one's come back to us. No one's rejoined us yet on
Oh, they will.
Twitter.
They will. Have a look
Message
at-
says last thing he tweeted was 30 minutes ago saying, things you expect to hear on Gritty Cricket number 207. Blah, blah, blah. Fish cakes.
Fish cakes.
Hashtag Brooker Wibble.
Well, we're waiting the return of the chicken hunters.
I think they are consuming in the green room.
Are they? They're actually going to bother. Oh, there is one of them. We were just saying as Mash
Sort of
tries to settle himself into
very,
the jingle
very
chair.
coolly, very calmly wanders in. Very Kieran Pollard-like.
We were rather hoping that the West Indies opening batsmen were a bit more efficient than the two representatives of their nation in our commentary team.
I'm about to reprimand you both.
Everything's been jingled already. You're too
wish
late. In comes it's Mohammed Shami. Of course, he hasn't been
Oh,
jingled.
wow,
actually,
that's a bit
to
of
be fair.
swing there.
And that did swing well, indeed. There was swing in the previous over as well.
Well, maybe they've just got a good nut, because I don't recall Shami being much of a person to swing the ball.
No, well, he got that to
He's
shape
mainly a man off the seam, if
away. And
my
Ambrose-
eyes don't deceive me from the last few years.
He did. Well, Ambrose played right inside that. didn't
Whereas
he?
Bhuvi Kumar was the one who tended to swing the ball.
Yeah. David Brooke is going to make his way in. As Mohammed Shami is in, and that one again just shapes away a little bit, but this time the right-handed Ambrose is able to lay a bat upon it. But it's just away to point, and again there is no run. So certainly an unspectacular start, Mash.
Yeah, I think it's important that they have a bit of a circumspect start to the innings. Ambrose has had I guess you could call it a good start to his. I mean, he's averaging 70, but
Well, he is indeed,
this is India.
and he's going to be facing Mohammed Shami. One slip is in place. This was flicked delightfully off his pads through square leg, and that will go all the way for 4 runs.
1 2 ka 4 4 2 ka 1. My name is Lakhan. My name is Lakhan.
Possibly, did he just overpitch slightly there? Certainly strayed just enough onto middle and leg, and Ambrose was quick as a flash just to step onto the back foot and wristily whip it away. So that gets the West Indies off and running. Remember, the run rate required is under 6, or around about 5.5. Well, it gone up a shade, but nothing appreciable. 288 the target. Shami in, and thrown up in the air by Rishabh Pant, but Ambrose didn't offer any kind of shot at it as it moved away from his outside edge. Knuckle, I think that if you could get your spacesuit on and go and sort that satellite out, it would be very useful. Odd, because the weather conditions outside here, I have to say, are really rather beautiful. We've got clear blue sky, crisp London day. Not quite sure whether it's, we were forecast rain, but it's been avoided where we are there in India, as that one's worked away again off his legs beautifully by Ambrose, all the way for another 4.
There's not one boy for me, I must have 2 or 3, I need 4.
Did not quite as much whip of the wrists that time, and therefore not as much power. He really let the bat do the work on that one, didn't he?
Yeah, Sunil Ambrose is a good player, and he's fully deserving of a longer run in the ODI team. He was the guy, I don't know if you know, but he got if I'm right, it was a double duck on debut, hit wicket versus New Zealand.
Oh,
if I'm right,
Correct.
Did he? In ODIs was this?
No, that was in a test.
Oh, it was in his test.
Yeah, it was one of the most embarrassing,
Oh, my
forgettable
Lord.
Test match debuts.
Shami's going to be in again from the Anna Pavilion end, and again it swings away from the right-hander,
But-
and is through to Rishabh Pant.
Sorry, so 8 for none. But just to give any viewers who don't know a whole lot about Sunil Ambrose, he has been one of the heaviest domestic scorers, particularly in 50-over cricket in the Caribbean. So he's well deserving of a run. But like I say, that the reason I referenced that dismissal in New Zealand is because it kind of did for him.
Yep.
So he's kind of been in and out. He's never been able to get a full run in the ODI side.
Well, he averages 70 odd in
Right.
ODIs.
Yes,
and
because so in that in the Tri-Series prior to the World Cup, he scored 100 and I'm going to say it was 70, maybe it was 149 against Ireland.
He did. I'll tell you exactly what he made, as this one is just, well, I think he was looking to cut, but ended up just pushing it back to the bowler. Against Ireland, Sonal Lambris made 148 in a 5-wicket win in Malahide.
That was where him and John Campbell had that record, that world record opening stand, 300 and something. Can't remember what exactly it was.
Hope, he opened with Shy Hope there. Hope made 30.
Sorry, record second wicket stand. Sorry, I should say. Something like that. Because Campbell made 170.
No, it wasn't the opening partnership. Maybe
I
it was the
thought it
next.
was
Yeah, maybe there were more than one.
8 without loss. Shy Hope yet to get off the mark. 2 whips through mid-wicket from the wristy Ambrose, and this one's left alone outside of his off stump by Shy Hope.
So yeah,
no run.
Just to finish that, so his Ambrose's list day average is 44, around that, 43, 44. So he is next in line. So Evan Lewis's injury has allowed Sunil to get a chance, but he's deserving of one.
You think he's better than Campbell?
Yes. And I'm Jamaican, and I think he's better. The
voice to my left, by the way, the other chicken hunter, the late chicken hunter, is none other than David Brooke, left alone through to the keeper.
Hello, Tony. That early return caught me by surprise. Maybe some listeners too, because we were expecting a half-hour break.
Well, we were. I think we got a half-hour break. I just think your chicken hunt took longer than you were anticipating.
Yeah, certainly a bigger order than I anticipated.
Oh, was it?
Everyone steamed in, including the departing Roger.
He said he was getting them for the chicken legs for the road, he said. He's not going to get anywhere very fast on those, but there we go. 8 without loss. As in comes Shy Hope. In comes Chahar, who's again yet to concede a run. And that's right on the money on off stump. And Hope just steps back and pushes it away to the onside, and there's no run.
This is it's a shame I'm not going to be on comms with Knackle before I leave, but I'm going to discuss it with you two nonetheless. The only reason I say, let me explain.
Well, it's nice to feel so wanted.
Let me explain what I mean. Is Knackle and I have had some discussion about this topic already.
Right. Well, I don't know what the topic is yet, but it's good to know. Thanks for warning us.
But I'm glad I've got you two to talk it with.
Oh well, yeah. Go dig yourself out of a hole. So this could be runs. No, it's not. What a fantastic diving stop that was. That was Captain. It was Colinus. He flung himself away to his left there at cover, and he has a little wink to his bowler, I think, just to go. There you go. I think I saved you some runs there. He certainly did. What a terrific bit of fielding that was. It was nicely driven. But Kohli was 3, 4, 5 steps and then diving away to his left, showing what a complete package he is as a cricketer. And Chahar again, I keep wanting to call him Chahal, is in this time. It is threaded between cover and extra cover. It won't go all the way though, so they'll take one. I should imagine they will come back for 2. They certainly do. So off the final ball of his second over, Chahar concedes his first runs in the form of a 2. David, how are you? It's been ages since I've seen you. It's too long. I'm not sure your microphone is working. It could be the connection. That microphone, you need to... The bit that's on the floor. Yeah, Knackle will come in and... statistical supremo, satellite engineer and sound management. No. Your pearls of wisdom are fading away into nothingness. As Shami takes up the attack again, and this one is, the bat is dropped on it by Ambrose, and they take a well run, smart single. David Brooke is with us again.
Testing 1, 2, 3.
Testing, well, just 1 in that particular instance, and you are fully back with us. I was just asking you how you were.
Oh, no. Well, thank you. Good.
Oh no, now you're doing a Norman Collier on us and disappearing.
I know how to fix this. 1 sec.
He's going to go and eat his chicken. It is a connection. There is a connection. It can be done. You're going to get a little bit of help. 11 without loss. Mohammed Shami, the bowler. Oh, and that was on the middle and leg stump of Shai Hope, who got a little bit squared up and ended up just sort of bunting it back to the bowler. I'm going to have another look at that. Yeah, well, actually didn't get a bat on it. It would have gone down leg side, I think. Caught him just at sort of the top of the knee roll, and I think would have been too high and possibly going down leg.
How is this sounding?
That's sounding really good. Deep, resonant.
I can't match the
Manly
voice of Mashal.
Mashal
Very much the mic holding.
That one is just pushed to mid-on. There is no run.
I think it's still a bit on off.
No, you're okay now.
Sure.
Yeah, you are getting a bit of a sort of a noisy cable effect.
It feels.
Yeah, no. You're in trouble there. Where's the bear when you need him? Shami again. Ooh, and that one hurries up. Was it me, or did that just keep a tad low? Or did he just push it through a bit? Hope just stepped back. And he seemed to have to drop the bat on that in a bit of a hurry, I think, didn't he?
I've got plenty of things to say about Shai Hope.
Well, we'll want to hear them.
Hello.
Yeah, you're in. You're in.
David is, we think, finally with us. Tummy full of chicken and a microphone.
I haven't had a
full
chance
of
to
hope.
eat it yet.
Oh, you haven't had a chance.
Just carried it back.
You carried it back. Okay. Oh, I just think it's going to be out there getting cold while you're sat in here with us. Shami in. And Hope just leans forward, pushes to point, no run.
We have an oven in the green room. It's keeping things warm.
Fantastic.
And in answer to your question, several overs ago.
Yes.
Yes, good, thanks. I'd like to
Excellent.
see a slightly quicker start from the Windies. Hope 2 from 16 balls. And Mashal, this gives you my chance to ask you, why are there no Jamaicans in this West Indies team?
None of them are good enough.
Come on.
That's a simple answer.
Campbell's...
Rothman Powell's the only one
I'd like
have.
to see Campbell in this team as well.
Shami is rolling in and excellent delivery onto sort of 3/4 of the way up the off stump of Shai Hope, who just steps back to defend away into the offside. End of the over.
So, go on, sorry, tweets.
Oh, I'll just do some quick tweets quickly before allowing you to come back on that. And Genro says, Chicken Hunters has the whiff of a Murakami novel. Once again, Genro, your reference is far too highbrow for me. Chris says, greetings from Melbourne. They showed the Viv 1984 MCG 208 highlights in the break on Fox. Well, we had the Grid of Cricket podcast on the break. And Imagine says, pixelating in Australia too, and there's no risk of rain here. Pirate Badshah watched that innings of 148 of Ambrose that you, Tony, you and Mash were talking
in
about.
Ireland, yes.
It was very well made, even if the pitch was much kinder on the batters than the one a few weeks before England played on. Thank you for that, Pirate
Well,
Badshah.
I was making the point that both these openers have made their highest scores against Ireland, but they were in different matches, but in the same tour. As Chahar is in, that'll be a big shout, and surely, yes, that looked as plum as a plum thing to me. And Ambrose has been trapped in front and is the first wicket to fall. He's gone.
How's that? You messed about, I caught you out. How's that?
Yep. I don't know what you saw there, David, but to me that looked unquestionably as plum as it could be. No, you haven't gone again.
Hello. What I'm seeing,
you're
I'm
back.
just going to keep it in place. What I'm seeing there from Ambrose is someone who, every time he steps up at international level, with the exception of that game against Ireland, makes errors, and that was an error because he played right across the line.
He did.
And I'm going to go back to saying that, if he's the next best opening bat, I'm not convinced yet that he's the next best opener after Evan Lewis. John Campbell would be ahead of him in my book, but just because too often he makes these silly errors when he steps up at international level, and he hasn't yet got past that.
Well, you've seen a lot more of him than me, but I mean, certainly his two scoring shots today were both played wristily into leg. I think he was looking to do the same again there. But if you're, is he leg side dominant? That's the question I think I'm getting to, because that often will give you the risk of playing across your pads.
Well,
isn't it?
yeah, he was playing across the line there, and to a straight one. And at this level, that was a soft wicket.
Hurried him a bit too, Mash, didn't it? It was a good ball by Shami. You've got to say it.
Yeah.
Whipped through.
David's
That
got a
wasn't
point.
Shami, but
I mean, I don't think Ambrose or Campbell are good enough at international level. But it's much of a muchness to me as to which one would be next in line. And the problem is, in the domestic Super 50 tournament, no one's put their name forward anyway as an opener. And the only thing I would say in Ambrose's defence, he's not an opener. He's been made to open at domestic level. He comes in at 4 or 5. So,
Well, it brings to the crease none other than Shimron Hetmeyer. Has he got brightly coloured hair still, or has he gone back to a more normal shade? As that one's left alone anyway, outside of the left-handers off stump through to Rishabh Pant.
Unless I've got X-ray eyes, I can't.
You can't see under his helmet.
No, he stopped the whole. He stopped that whole
the whole orange hair thing.
Yeah.
Yep. You see, we're looking at that replay.
It's a atrocious shot.
It would have
poor shot.
hit middle and leg, 3/4 of the way, just above 3/4 of the way up, and it really was a flick across the front of his pads, and just the ball hurried. It just came through just that little bit quicker than he was expecting, I think, and it did for him.
Yeah, Campbell will offer you a straighter bat than that. He has put a few scores together in Test matches and 1/2 century. The other player who did do well in Super 50, the other opening bat, Karen Powell, but that might be a backward step.
Yeah, as in comes Chahar, and that one is just driven straight to cover by Shimron Hetmeyer.
So
That's no run.
I didn't raise the point that I've been meaning to raise, and I want to do it now before it doesn't become relevant. So Shai Hope statistically is West Indies' best batsman, but he's also our worst batsman, because you can have a player that averages 50, I think it's 50 in international ODI cricket, which is good. Look at his strike rate. His
75.
strike rate is always terrible, and this is 2019.
Shaharan again from the V, Pattabiraman, and and that was Hetmeyer. Actually played that nicely. He played it down, soft hands. And he was just reaching for a little bit, and possibly an outside edge, but I think he was just trying to guide it down to third man and had it under control. Bit of a waggle, wasn't it?
So a player with an averages over 50 is also a liability because of his strike rate of 75.
Extraordinary, isn't it? Yeah.
Don't get me
Other
wrong.
players
Gets him
bat
too
around.
slow.
Doesn't he bat around the?
That's his point in the team, to anchor. So he's supposed to now bat through the innings and everyone else bat.
Which
But if
he has been doing.
If it doesn't come off, isn't that a match losing role?
This one,
Well, yeah, but it
full on an off stump and away to point and no run.
He's averaging over 50. It must be coming off more times than not.
That's
Take your point, Mash.
11 for 1. David is I think, attempting to strangle his microphone. It is frustrating, I grant you. 11 for 1 are the West Indies. That one will. Well, I think 288 as a target is could be a bit of a challenge, given that India were not exactly scoring super fast. It was all a bit yes/no. Hetmeyer dropped the bat on it, and they finally, after a bit of toing and froing, decided that they would come through for a quick single, quicker than it probably needed to be if they'd have got on with it in the in the first place. But it concludes that over.
Yeah, just on that, what was your question in the end, Mashal? The one that you were going to put to
That's
that's
exactly
the one.
it. Yeah, so
Shai Hope.
Yeah, and don't get me wrong, I'm not saying drop him, although I was saying drop him last year. I'm not saying drop him. You can't drop a player who averages 50. But what I am saying is, if he bats at this, so he started off with 19 balls, 2 runs. That's typical. That's nothing new. Now, let's say he goes at 65 through this innings and anchors through, probably will make 90, might make a century. It puts pressure on the remaining batsmen to have to play shots because he can't go through the gears, but he can anchor through at a strike rate of 65 to 70. But I'm just saying, actually, is that beneficial?
Jonathan Trott.
England are a better team. Were a better team. Are a better team.
Either way, Mohamed Shami is going to be continuing from the. I'll tell you which end. He's still got a slip in place there. And that's carved away, but carved straight away to KL Rahul, who is patrolling that point region. And there is no run. Hetmeyer's not a man to go slowly about his work, though, normally, is he? He'll look to get on with things.
No, Hetmeyer's a balancing item, but you're right, Mash. 2 from Hope in 17 balls. That's putting pressure on the rest of the team when you're chasing this target.
But I think I agree with you, but just to put forward a counter argument for a second as well, which I will do after this. Shami skips a little hop and a skip at the beginning of his run there. And that's edged over that slip, but only just. If you're going to flash hard, and you will get one of these.
There's not one boy for me, I must have 2 or 3, I need 4.
All I was going to say was, don't the West Indies have sufficient power around that? So if you have one batsman who's laying you a platform, don't they have the horsepower around that one batsman to put the runs on the board at a decent rate?
That's the argument.
And therefore the anchor is not a bad role to have in the team.
I agree. That's the game plan. But this is a team that always loses.
Oh, well, so if in doubt, it doesn't really work. That one rather hurries Hetmeyer actually, and the ball sort of. I think he was looking to push it into a leg, but it sort of bobbled its way to point rather slowly and apologetically. 16 for 1. Mohammed Shami's economy rate against right-handers about 5.3 and against left-handers 5.8, so fairly consistent against both, I would say. Made his debut in 2013 against Pakistan in Delhi. Did Shami, and that's whipped away off his pads. They will take a single to mid-wicket. Kedar is the man there, and it's a man. His first ever wicket. Mohammed Shami is a man we've already talked about today, who has the highest number of runs on this ground. Want to hazard a guess, David, who that might be?
No idea.
Brilliant. You weren't here actually when we talked about it, so it would make it quite hard for you.
Syed Anwar.
Syed Ajmal. Oh, Anwar. No, I'm wrong. I got it wrong. I got my Syeds wrong. You're right. Syed Anwar has the most runs on this ground. Syed Ajmal was the first ODI
you have to decide
victim.
You have to decide what side of the argument you're going to take on this one,
very
Tony.
good. Oh, and that one top-edged. And one bounce only just south of that rope over.
2 + 2 is our man.
Well, there's no doubt about Hetmeyer's intent, but that's what we said, Mash, wasn't it? He said he's not going to hang around, he'll get on with things, and that's... he went for the pull there, top edge. It was never... The only it looked like it might actually go all the distance, but it didn't.
So what you're seeing is Shimron's usual reckless play. And I've been hypercritical of Shimron Hetmeyer for the last year. I know he's young, but... Come on, Shimron, you can play better than this.
Well, Shami is right arm around to the left-handed Hetmeyer, who just pushes this to mid-on. They have to scamper, but they scamper successfully.
Thanks, Tony. Lots of people watching us on Facebook, including Annie. Hello, Annie. Annie Chave, who's been doing some sterling work, trying to save county cricket. I've got some good...
I've got a question for Annie, but I'll wait until you've read a few tweets.
And... just wanted to say to Annie, keep up the good work. Plenty of stories about the 100 and the problems associated with introducing that competition are in the ether. I'd like to update you on those at some point. Sunil Lankra is saying India are going to win, and as is Prakash Vasant Baviskar says that it's going to be a good response. Another Indian win prediction from Aaron M. And Nisar Ali Nisar says India win. Imran Sweeto's just saying hi. Nitesh Yadav is saying Yasser Ali is saying West Indies win by 6 wickets. Okay.
Whoa, Mash,
bit
what
of
do you make
Indian
of that?
pessimism there. And
unlikely, I think, is what you make of that. But there you go. You
I'm
never
with
know.
It. I'm with it. 6 wickets. Yeah, win by 6.
21 for 1 they are at the moment. Chahar's going to continue. He's bowled beautifully. 1 for 3 off 3 overs. And this one he just arrows in to the left-hander's pads, but Hetmeyer's able to just help it on around the corner, really.
Can I just say...
And they'll take a single.
David, as well, my last point on Hope for now. There's no excuse not to rotate strike.
No, indeed.
That's what gets me about it. Why is he eating up dot balls? At least rotate the strike.
Well, is there shades of Shiv Chandra Paul, a man that was heavily criticised for his scoring rate in ODIs despite having a very high batting average? Are there shades of Shiv Chandra Paul about this, do you think? You know, sort of
Less
personal
crab-like in his stance.
No, I mean in terms of in terms of this, you know, good strong personal average, batting average, but not necessarily part of winning run chases.
Yeah, there's an argument there, but he'd nudge and nurdle.
Chahar is in again, driven quite imperiously.
Take that, Mash.
By Shy Hope.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Through cover for
Take that.
For 4 magnificent runs by the excellent Shy Hope, who's getting some
He
grief
got through
here.
to him.
He's just beginning to open up as we all wanted him to do.
Indeed. Well, he did that quite beautifully. What a shot that was.
Let me put the opposing side of the argument then. A man consistently clocking up one of the highest scoring aggregates in ODI cricket across the world has got to be doing something right.
Correct.
In a team that's short of runs usually.
As Chahar's in again. This one, Shy Hope doesn't time. He was looking to cut it away again, and he sort of rather bottom edges this to extra cover.
You know, Tony, the number of times West Indies lose too many wickets too early, and you see them not using up their overs. At least this is an improvement on that. They've found a player who is a consistent run scorer. For that, give thanks.
Well, if you back your overs out, you're in the game, aren't you?
If Shy Hope is there at the end, the chances are West Indies are in the game in some capacity.
But you say he's quite young, right?
Oh yeah. Like he will improve. He will improve 100%.
That may come. You know, I think you're being just possibly a wee bit harsh on him. Although the proof is in the record, and if West Indies keep losing, then you could argue it's not working. Chahar in again, and Hope just pushes that away to mid-wicket, and he did slightly play that one across his pads as well, didn't he? And the Chahar's hands went to his head, because I think he knew that had Hope not connected the bat to the ball there, then he would have been plumb LBW.
You know, West Indies been looking for someone to
Cross-seamer.
West Indies been looking for someone to play that role. You know, you think Craig Brathwaite had a spell as ODI opener. That was patently absurd compared to Shay Hope's got a lot more shots than him.
Yes.
And at least you have a consistent run scorer there, you know.
And comes Deepak Lakanda Singh Chahal again. And Shy Hope just guides this away into the covers, but there's no run. 27 for 1. Just the one ball left of this 7th over. His speed's been sort of dropping slightly through this over, isn't it? But I think that's more a feeling that he's getting decent control with the slower balls than it is the fact he's running out of steam. 1 for 9 he has. He's around the wicket again. Worked straight to mid-wicket by Hetmeyer, no run. So 27 for 1.
Talking to people running out of steam, did you see Tino Best's sort of ill-advised comment about Jofra Archer? Did you see that was been doing the rounds on social media, saying, you know, what's the matter, Jofra, your speed's down, you know, busted flush and all this sort of thing, which Jofra responded to saying, myself and my captain are both happy, thank you very much for your concern.
Right, so I must have missed the initial tweet, because I saw Jofra reply to Tino after Tino had put some kind of cryptic tweet, which I now understand wasn't
that
Jofra.
cryptic? Yeah.
No, the one after that, where he said something like, young people don't want to listen to advice anymore. And I was like, obviously Tino Best is an idiot, but
is he?
Well, criticising Jofra Archer because his speed was down in New Zealand on wickets that, you know, were not as
well,
pacey.
I think, we will obviously talk at a more appropriate time about that. I think, I'll tell you what was the disappointment to me, is that one is pushed away just to mid-on by Hope. I think the problem for me there was the fact that with a Kookaburra ball, he wasn't able to do more. And I think, you know, thinking ahead to South Africa and Australia and harder wickets, particularly Australia, you were just hoping to see signs in New Zealand of him terrorising batsmen. And the only time he really did that was when he bowled short constantly. And I think England secretly will just be a little bit disappointed, as Hope looks to drive this away in the offside, but doesn't really get hold of it, and it sort of meanders its way indolently towards cover.
No, that's fair comment, and that's fair criticism. But to, you know, for a fellow professional to be tweeting about Jofra's speed being down, and being a cause for concern, only into his second series and his speed is already down. That to me was, unfair.
Is that a hint of you shouldn't have left the West Indies mate behind that?
Well, maybe.
As Shami barrels in and fields off his own bowling, and then flings the ball back as Hope threatened to run out of his ground. Virat Kohli, I think, is considering whether this is worth a review. He's actually talking to Hope, and I wonder if he was asking him to be honest and go, are you out your ground? Hope's just happily ignoring that question, doing a spot of gardening and touching gloves, and he was nowhere near out of his ground. His bat was firmly planted, but it was a sharp bit of fielding from Mohammad Shami off his own bowling, which is never that easy. So they are having a look, but I can assure you it will be not out, and indeed that is the case. The third umpire was Rod Tucker, and that's not the hardest decision he'll ever have to give. 27 for 1. Remember, India 287 for 8. A sort of an innings of two halves, really, with the second half being very much the acceleration. We're in the 8th over. That sort of rolling shouldered run of Shami with his cloth flapping behind him. And get a little bit of lift there. And Hope kind of rocks back and lets it through to Rishabh Pant behind the stumps. No run.
Jen Rowe has been back in touch after I said that her previous tweet was too highbrow. She says, I'm still trying to figure out the right level of brow
She's told
for GC cultural references. Well, don't judge it on my account.
Well, hang on. I think you might find it's different depending on who's in which chair at which time.
Exactly. Don't judge it on me, for God's sake. You're setting the bar far too low.
There's always a lowest common denominator.
Yeah, you're setting the bar far too low.
I think you're being hard on yourself there, David. You're a man of great intellect, I think. As this one is driven straight to mid-off, and there's no run.
I noticed you added the qualifier there, Tony.
What was the qualifier?
I think,
yes.
Yeah, I think you're a man of great intellect, I think. You
got your first reading test. Can you read Knuckles' writing?
Just on the subject of brow, Cricketing View says that's very interesting, especially when one considers the fact that the phrase highbrow has its origins in phrenology. Tony, what is phrenology?
Phrenology is the studying of bumps on people's heads, isn't it?
Oh.
Very highbrow.
That is
so very highbrow, quite literally. Above the brow. This one inside edged by Hope, but onto his feet. Do you want me to read this, or do you? It says, Tino Best's bafflingly urged Jofra Archer to bowl fast like a raccoon.
Right, yeah, I don't know why
Very
Tino's
strange.
got onto Jofra Archer's back like this.
Well, the only thing I can think
It's
of
the Bayesian
is
thing, isn't it?
the considering him perhaps somewhat traitorous in his
I have to
career
assume
move.
that's what it is.
Yeah.
Is it Schadenfreude? Can I try and go highbrow, or is that completely inappropriate word?
It could be. No, Schadenfreude. Well, that's where you sort of get
no idea what
what's
it means.
coming to you.
Oh, you get what's coming
Yeah,
to you.
you
Well,
get what's
that's not
coming to
right,
you.
is it?
Yeah.
That's not right. I'd withdraw that.
If I'm right, I think I am. But I know what. How did phrenology come into the discussion?
Because Cricketing View tweeted us and said that in response to Genro about the highbrow word, said that's very interesting, especially when one considers the fact that the phrase highbrow has its origins in phrenology.
And phrenology, I'm pretty sure phrenology is the reading of bumps on people's heads.
It would make sense.
Yeah.
In the
Well, there you go.
context.
Anyway, an interesting change of bowling. We are going to see Kuldeep Yadav, who I think only needs 4 wickets in this to be the fastest Indian to 100 ODI wickets. So if he gets 4 wickets today, he will take that honour. And this one is whipped away very nicely off his legs. But there is a man down there deep mid-wicket, and they will just take 2.
I wonder how long he has to get to that. If he doesn't get them today, I wonder how much longer he's got to get the record.
Well, it's good. I don't know the answer to that one, David. I can probably...
Interesting question, though.
It is a very interesting question. Generally, I mean, ODI records are interesting because, as Yadav gives that one plenty of air. What a delivery that was. And Hetmeyer, who's now, for you, David, specifically just for you, taken his helmet off to show that he is more naturally hair-coloured these days rather than bright orange. But there's a lot to like about that ball from Kuldeep. And in he comes again, and that one rips and turns past the left-hander's outside edge. And well, Hetmeyer was beaten by hook, line and several sinkers on that.
I don't know who it was who said this morning on commentary that both teams have to bat on this pitch. Was that you, Tony?
That was probably me.
Yeah,
that's the
either
sort
you
of
or Jason.
weary old cliche I tend to come out
No,
with.
but it's absolutely right. You know, the pitch that's turning like that.
In comes Kuldeep. Strays a little bit onto leg stump that side, and it's pushed away, and they will take a single to mid-wicket.
I mean, that
So
was
30 for 1.
That was a prodigious turn, wasn't it?
It was.
And,
That one was just terrific.
and West Indies only bowled four overs of spin. No, Roston Chase bowled 7 overs. So
He did, and again he started off well, and then seemed to lose the plot and was dragging it down and getting carted away to leg. And there was a point I remember. So Mash, you were saying, weren't you? Surely it's time for him to come off, and they left him on probably for 1 or 2 overs too long, I think, in the end, didn't they? But 30 for 1 as Kuldeep Yadav flips the ball from hand to hand. And again, my word, he makes batsmen think, doesn't he, when he's on song. And this one rather squares up Hope, but he gets enough behind it safely enough. So 3 runs so far from the 5 balls of this over. Kuldeep will be weaving his magic once more, one more time in this over. Plenty of air that time, and Hope waits for it almost and flicks it down to long on. Though they will get another single. Hope will help himself to the strike. And the end of the over. Gets through him quickly.
Well, Leah says nobody should listen to anything Tino Best says. Well, maybe. And what is Tino on about? She says, well, since when are trash pandas known for their pace? Not quite sure what that means.
The raccoon.
Right, got it now. Sorry, I'm missing the lowbrow references now, as well as the middlebrow references. I'm just missing all references.
You are.
Can I move off the subject and say hello to our friends at Quick Tracker? Nitin Maheshwari and Randia Das, who says hi. Lava Kusa says super. Lava and nice. We've got super and nice. You're probably
Super
referring
nice.
to...
It's like an episode of Jazz Club.
Tony. Nice.
Nice.
And lots of similar greetings from our listeners in Quick Tracker in India. Chilanjani, Lalit Yadav, Yamashi Vicky Lalit Yadav. Nice to see you all. Give us a wave.
Well, we're going to see the right arm fast medium of Shivam. Is it Dooby? Doob? Well, either way, he's right arm fastest medium. And starts with a dot ball.
I would prefer
Nice.
Doobie, as in
Doobie.
Doobie Brothers.
As in the Doobie Brothers. What was their China Grove? Am I thinking, is that the Doobie Brothers? China Grove?
Dubé.
The Dubé Brothers.
Here he
Long
is
train
anyway.
running.
Dubé Brothers. Here he is. This is the man.
Treat the bowlers roughly. He's got the skills you need, and he's right buff. Really, he's hitting sixes, not making duck eggs. So take this guy.
Yeah, he's got a nice rhythmic run up, I'll say that. But he strays onto leg there, and it's flicked away through square leg. But Mohammed Shami is out there riding that square leg. No, it's not Mohammed Shami. I do beg his pardon. But either way, no boundary ensued. It was Kedar down there, who is sporting, as indeed on most of the Indian team, I think, the sort of the little flannel flopping around over his buttocks. Sorry.
Interesting enunciation of that word, Tony.
What flannel?
Look at those sunglasses. A nice pair of Oakleys there by the looks of it.
Stylish, very stylish.
Stylish
Kedar.
as,
Yeah, look, they see. I mean, it's clearly the players who bowl, I suspect, who will have those. As Dubé is in again, and Kedar has been brought forward now for the left-handed Hetmeyer. So they're having forward, I think, on the for the left-handed Hetmeyer, and then they're pushing him back to sort of deeper mid-wicket for the right-hander, aren't they? So that at least keeps him on the move, whether he fields the ball or not. 32 for 1. 288 that target. How are they doing run? What's the run rate, Mash, at the moment? What do they need versus what are they achieving? They needed at the beginning about 5.7.
It's definitely gone up since.
And this one is pulled, hoiked, in fact, over deep mid-wicket. 1 bounce, 4.
1, 2, 3, bounce.
That helps the run rate.
Our friend, the Indian part of the Doobie Brothers, just did drop that a bit short, wide of the off stump of the left-hander, and he just pulled it across, smashed it smashed it down to long on. Terrific shot.
So the run rate is 3.72, and the run rate required at the moment is 6.24.
So the run rate is edging up, but they're keeping the wickets by and large in hand. Just the one that's fallen. This is to point. And no run, 36 for 1. Knuckle is looming, laptop in hand.
I'm going to be out after this ball for the rest of the
You're
match,
off.
so I'll be tweeting in. I'll be listening and tweeting
I'm
in.
going to the dodgy microphone.
It's not a comment on the outcome of the match, Mashal, your early departure.
No, I've got to be somewhere, but I will be listening for the remainder of the match, tweeting gloriously as we rump home to victory.
Well, you and our guest on Crick Tracker both have massive confidence in the West Indies, as this one is good full ball on the just outside the off stump of Hetmeyer, and he pushes it back to the bowler. No run, 36 for 1, and we will have a change. No music's been put on, so I will stay here for now. And then I shall shift. Jason Hiscox is here.
Yep. You owe us all right. You think this alternative cricket commentary stuff comes cheap? Well, we need some dollar bills to help pay our bills, so please go to patreon.com/Gorilla Cricket and sign up to make a regular monthly donation. You know there is literally nothing like Gorilla Cricket's coverage, so don't be tight. Dip into your virtual pocket and throw some cash our way. See, Rihanna knows. Patreon.com/Gorilla Cricket.
Kuldeep Yadav continuing, bowling the 11th over, his second. So this is his 54th one-day international. The fastest Indian to 100 ODI wickets is Mohammad Shami, who did it in 56 one-day international. So he's got this game and the next in order to do so, in order to get to that milestone in the fastest time for any Indian. None for 4 in his first over. Got the googly and the orthodox delivery going very nicely indeed. Kuldeep Yadav, West Indies 36 for 1, needing 288 to win this first one-day international. As Kuldeep is in, slip in place, which is Rohit Sharma tossed up to the helmeted Shea Hope, an orthodox delivery turning into the right-hander, and he nudges this down to Jadeja at long on a walked single.
There seems to be a lot of love for the West Indies on Crick Tracker.
I think there are a lot of people in India's second team.
Yeah, everyone wants them to do well for the good of cricket in general.
And also a lot of these guys have been playing the IPL for a long time. Like Karan Pollard is particularly popular.
Runner says hi. Ali
Hi.
Khan says hi.
Hi.
And Mohammed Imran Ali says West Indies will win.
Not the Ali Khan who plays for the United States of America.
No.
Shimron Hetmeyer, the bareheaded, is into Kuldeep. Tosses this up a little bit too full, and it's punched down the ground by Hetmeyer, and they take a single. You're listening to Gorilla Cricket's coverage. Oh, it's Mayank Agarwal is on the field as a sub-fielder for somebody, not quite sure who. Yet to make his full one-day international debut, but has done a little bit as a sub-fielder. You're listening to Gorilla Cricket's coverage of West Indies' one-day international tour of India. This is the first one-day international, and as I say, India made 287 for 8 with 70s for Shreyas Iyer and Rishabh Pant. I'm not sure if that actually hit the outside edge of the bat. It was a good delivery which drifted away from the right-handed Shea Hope, and either beat the outside edge, and Rohit Sharma had to sort of dive to his left and could only parry it. Did it take the edge? It's very difficult to tell from that angle. It was a good parry from Rohit Sharma. It would have been a superb catch/take.
Yeah, he did. Arguably, he did well to get a hand to it.
Kuldeep tosses this up a little bit of turn there. That was the orthodox delivery away from the. Turning away from the left-hander, Hetmeyer stretches forward and blocks into the offside. There is no run. Kuldeep's looking really good rhythm already. Yeah, it's been given a run, so that's technically a drop. Technically, Shea Hope dropped on 10, but would have been an absolutely superb catch diving to his left by Rohit Sharma at slip. Kuldeep is in again, fires this down the leg side, and manages to completely beat everyone. It's ended up being 5 wides because it drifted outside the legs of Shimron Hetmeyer as he tried to sweep it very fine, and then turned so sharply that Rishabh Pant, having gone down the leg side, was beaten on the offside, and it beat Rohit Sharma. Unlucky for Kuldeep. And from an absolutely stonking delivery, it's gone for 5 wides.
Rohan Gupta is with us on Crick Tracker. Says hi, hello to you.
Hello, Rohan.
And Sachendra Pratap Singh says, well done, Pant and Shreyas. Yes, indeed. Did
Yeah,
well.
they batted very well. Rishabh Pant's first one-day international 50. Shreyas Iyer's fifth. The four men out are at deep point, deep square leg, long off and long on. So we've got a slip, a short third man, an extra cover, a mid-wicket, and a short fine leg as Kuldeep is in, tosses this up, and very slow, just held back a little bit. Hetmeyer into the shot too early, comes off the bottom part of the bat into his foot, dribbles out into the offside, there is no run. Kuldeep has been a little bit short of rhythm for India, and for his T20 teams was dropped by KKR in the IPL, but this 11 balls so far has been very good indeed from Kuldeep Yadav. Just able to get a little bit of turn at slightly quicker pace than usual. Tosses this up a little bit too full. Hetmeyer nudges it into the leg side. The man from mid-wicket, who I think is Virat Kohli. No, it's not. It's Shreyas Iyer. Can't pick it up. They take the single down too long on, so Hetmeyer will keep strike. 1, 2, 3... 4 singles plus 5 wides, 9 off the over, but a little bit unlucky for Kuldeep Yadav. West Indies 45 for 1.
Ashok Kumar is with us. Rohan Gupta says hi. Kalaj Raja says hi. Naresh says hi. Hello to Edipur, Shayak, Sabani, and Khan Ansar, who says good commentary. Well, thank you very much.
Please tell your
Khan
friends.
Ansar, yeah, do indeed. Messi Jazz says how to categorise Tino Best's intellect with a couple of question marks. Well, if he came out in support of Freddie Flintoff advocating for the flat earth conspiracists, I wouldn't even be slightly surprised. Ravi Nair, hello Ravi, says he sent us a fantastic picture.
We'll come to Ravi after this ball. The first ball of Shivan Duve's second over in one-day international cricket is back of a length and punched off the back foot by Shimron Hetmeyer down to long on. They come through for a single.
He sent us a couple of rather tasty-looking delicacies, and I'll read it after
Are
this
they
ball.
virtual rather than physical?
No, they're real. Well, they're pictures, but they're real.
They're not coming our way, I think is what Jason was saying.
No,
Only digitally.
they're not. Only digitally our way, yes.
Seeing a little bit of a supercut of the inning so far. Basically, Shea Hope's played one glorious cover drive, and then apart from that, looked really scratchy. But Hetmeyer's trying to do his best to pick things up in the absence of anything particularly aggressive from Shea Hope. He punches this nicely into the leg side, though, beats the man at mid-wicket, takes the 2 that is afforded to him out to the sweeper.
The one thing Shea Hope can do, whilst he's being unable to get it off the square, at least to run like stink every time there's an opportunity to do
and that's
so.
what he doesn't do well enough, I think. I heard the conversation, it's something Mash and I have talked about. You know, he averages 50, but he scores at under 4.5 and over.
Well, we were having that debate at some length.
Yeah, if he can pick it up to 5, that becomes useful, but 4.5 and over really does put pressure on your teammates. That's a glorious shot by Shea Hope. A little bit too full, a little bit too leg-sidey, and Hope just picks this up beautifully and whips it away through the vacant mid-wicket region. 1 bounce 4.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Shimron Dubé a little bit friendly with that delivery, almost a leg stump half volley at no great pace, and Shea Hope picked it up very nicely. He's got a job to do as the third seamer, Shimron Dubé. Obviously, in the absence of the injured Hardik Pandya, India trying to get some.
Kind of reminds me of the other
Vijay Shankar.
Vijay Shankar.
That's back of a length and turned behind square by Shea Hope. I think the man at short fine leg got half a hand on it, which managed to take the pace off it. Kedar Jadhav comes around from deep square leg to field.
He seems to be straying onto leg side just too much, Dubé, at the moment.
Little bit. He does tend to sort of push the ball in towards the right hander, but he just needs to start that outside off.
He's trying to bowl wicket to wicket to make the batsman honest, but it's just not quite staying on the stumps at the moment.
Yeah, is he bowling his slower balls yet so far? That was, a sort of split fingery thing. He's not yet bowled any cross seamers or any cutters. Let's see what he does with this 5th ball of the over. Right arm over the wicket to Shea Hope. That's back of a length and nicely run down into the offside by Shea Hope. Jadeja flies across from backward point. You're not taking any runs to Jadeja's arm. There is no run.
We're getting some lovely comments on Crick Tracker, which is fabulous, and thank you all so much. Kanansar says you're good. Anik Prakash Sharma says good job. Kanansar says long life India, and Shaikh Sabani says good commentary.
Thank you very much.
Well, thank you indeed.
Yeah, please do share the link to the stream with your friends. The last ball of Shivam Dubé's second over in one-day international cricket. That's a much better line, but it's going to be fiddled down to third man. Nothing Jadeja could do about that. It was about 20 yards away from him. Take the single down to third man. A little bit of a release of pressure there from Shivam Dubey in that over, and the West Indies after 12 overs are 55 for 1.
Right, now I finally get to talk about Ravi's delicacies. He says, apologies for not tweeting, but I've been busy rushing to the kitchen doing experimental cooking to practice for Christmas lunch. This is a wrapped stuffing logs, puff pastry, a better wrap than bacon, mirabile dictu.
That sounds lovely. Stuffing wrap.
Well, there you go, yeah. They do look rather scrumptious as I'm looking at the digital version of them. Linux Lear is replying to messages and us, but Flintoff never really endorsed Flat Earth bullshit, but he just baited the tabloids.
Yes, he did enjoy pedal hose, though.
Mojo has sent us a video, which I think is of a remote-controlled car in the Wacker.
Oh yeah, I think that video's been doing the rounds. Rob Moody, who's the king of cricket YouTube, posted an old video. They used to run remote drinks out of remote control cars, and it once ran into the stumps.
So that is actually at the Wacker, not that the new.
Oh, is it? Yeah, this is in the mid-90s.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
Kuldeep tosses this up. A slip of face, googly beats Shea Hope on the outside edge. Punt has broken the stumps. They might as well have a look at this, because Hope was dragged forward by the delicious bit of bowling from Kuldeep Yadav. I'd be very surprised if they don't go up. And a very quick take from Rishabh Pant. Well, they're not going upstairs. That's odd.
There's also he kept the ball near the stumps, waiting for him to overbalance so he could take the stump out of the ground in case.
I think in the T20 series, actually, Rishabh Pant missed out on a stumping because he got his hands in front of the stumps. That was a lovely delivery from Kuldeep. His googly is so good.
Oh, it was terrific, wasn't it?
And a nice bit of keeping from Rishabh Pant. Ooh, it wasn't. Oh, actually, he missed the stumps the first time round, and actually, he might have had hope on that occasion. That's fuller and a little bit wider and driven into the offside, but straight to Shreyas Iyer at point on the edge of the circle. There is no, and I think had Hope, had Punt broken the stumps first time round, that might have been pretty close. I'd like to see that again. 44 runs off 50 balls, this partnership, mostly because of Hetmeyer's injection of urgency. Tossed up a little bit straighter. That's another googly starting on middle and off stump, and Hope tries to play it off the pitch. Defends to cover. There is no run.
Depending on how well he bowls, you can pick his googly sometimes online. If anything's pitched on the stumps, it's likely to be a googly.
Yeah, I mean, he doesn't turn his orthodox delivery that much. He does turn it a bit. It's very difficult to pick out the hand, Kuldeep Yadav. That one's the orthodox delivery, and Hope trying to cover all bases by going outside off stump. It's a good bit of work from Rishabh Pant squirming away into the leg side and picking up and throwing all in one motion, but they will take the single as Hope defends into the onside.
Messi Jazz has sent us a picture from the Express, I think, originally, of Andrew Flintoff at a lecture, who apparently was saying that the world could be turnip-shaped. Turnip-shaped, rather.
The Blackadder theory of
yes.
of Earth geology.
Yes. Flintoff got a cunning plan then.
Fifth ball of the over from Kuldeep, just the one run off this, his third over thus far. Kuldeep into the left-handed shimmer, and Hetmeyer turns away from Hetmeyer, the orthodox delivery, and it's a little bit too short and cut away by Hetmeyer. Shivam Dubey out there on the deep point boundary comes around, and he's got a good throwing arm, but they do come back for two. A little bit too short, a little bit too wide from Kuldeep, particularly at his pace.
Linux Lear says, I said it before, but it really is smart to ask for a stable currency and not British money, monopoly money.
Oh, dollars, yes.
Yeah.
Our Patreon. Kuldeep goes to rub a little bit of dirt onto his hands, and maybe the dew probably isn't as severe as it is in some parts of India, but can be an issue for spinners. Hetmeyer sweating under the lights as Kuldeep tosses this up deliciously, trying to tempt Hetmeyer into seeing visions of this sailing into the sea. He does swipe the bat pretty hard at it, but it comes off the bottom part of the bat down to long on. They come through for the single, just 4 runs I think off that over. After 13 overs, the West Indies 59 for 1. The required run rate over 6 and over.
Away into the Bay of Bengal. Parabadshah.
That would be across India. That would be a very big hit.
That's a hell of a hit.
Where is
Indian Ocean. It's on the eastern side.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, no, the Bay of... Oh, no, sorry, the Bay of Bengal is further north. Not
on the map I looked at.
Of Chennai.
Not on the map I looked at. I'll have a double check that. Parabadshah was saying the UAE have won the ODI versus Scotland by 7 wickets with just over 6 overs to spare. It always looked comfortable for them.
That is a stonking.
Linux Lear says, I listened to the podcast that started it all. This is back to Freddie Flintoff, and I don't think Freddie really believes that. Messi Jazz says, I do agree that Freddie's main aim in life seems to be to have a good laugh. Probably not a bad survival mechanism these days. Go along with you there, Messers.
We have a change of bowler.
Here we go. from the under pavilion end, right arm underground. Here he comes.
Are we struggling with him, Jace?
No, we're struggling with me working out where India is in the alphabet.
Oh, what's
But it's this guy.
Thank God his mom and dad, they made an all-rounder.
In he comes, Kedar Jadhav. Not as low as usual on that occasion, just a little bit of bend of the knee, but it's well wide of off stump, and Hetmeyer can throw his hands through it and powers it away past backward point for 4.
You're struggling there, Jace.
Yeah, wide long hop from Kedar Jadhav. A very, very friendly start indeed.
Now, by the way, Knuckle,
Yes. Oh, sorry, no, you're absolutely right.
Yeah, thank you.
You're absolutely right.
If you want to know the geography of India, mate, ask me. If you ever need any geographical Indian help, I'm your man.
No, you're absolutely right. Just off the coast of the Bay of Bengal. As Kedar Jadhav bowls a little bit shorter, a little bit straighter, and again punched into the offside by Shimron Hetmeyer, this time further in front of square. Shreyas Iyer can field on the cover boundary. Come through for a single.
Is it time for the jam and going underground yet?
Almost.
That should be his jingle. That really should be his jingle.
It would be good, wouldn't it? Chris the Choir says Scotland comprehensively beaten by UAE, for whom Basil Hamid scored 63 not out. Only other Basils I can think of in the past 60 years are Basil Butcher and Basil D'Oliveira. Any more international Basils?
Well, there's one who he didn't play international cricket, but he did play for Hampshire. What's his name? Basil Akhtar, I think. Tossed up from from Kedar Jadhav, and there's a stutter and a scurry from Hope and Hetmeyer. It was a push from Hetmeyer into the offside. They almost stopped and had a conference mid-wicket. Did Hope and Hetmeyer. We eventually come through for the single, and Virat Kohli, who was lurking there at short mid-wicket, dived away to his right full length and got the throw in quickly, but too far away from the stumps for Rishabh Pant to do anything about it. But Hope and Hetmeyer turned what could have been a very simple single into a real panic, and then Virat Kohli sinks to his knees like he's a dying centurion.
I guess Basil Brush was never tall enough to play international cricket, was he?
Kedar Jadhav on that occasion does really bend the back knee, but it gets too wide, and at Kedar Jadhav's pace, it's really easy for Shimron Hetmeyer to put back to ball, open the face, and power it away through point. Probably should have been stopped at backward point, but it's 4 runs.
My name is Lakhan. My name is Lakhan.
This has been really poor from Kedar Jadhav. His usual modus operandi is to bowl very slow and very straight. So far, he's bowled very full and very wide. It should have been stopped at backward point, in truth.
Genro says, we're now living in the age of the filled-in, highlighted and micro-bladed brow. Hairy eyebrows are king.
Tossed up again very wide of Hetmeyer's off stump, and he drives out to Shreyas Iyer on the point boundary. Already 11 off this over.
Do you think this is the plan, perhaps, to Hetmeyer?
To try and get him to drag it into the leg side from outside off stump?
Yeah.
So far, it's not working.
No, they might have to change that plan rather rapidly. Might have to bowl off his knees, as usual.
And straighter, much, much straighter. Over the wicket he is to Shea Hope. That is straighter, but it's turned into the leg side. Virat Kohli, absolutely lightning quick in the mid-wicket region. Gets the throw away very quickly. No chance of a single taken, but the damage had been done. 11 runs off Kedar Jadhav's first over. So India's sort of combination fifth bowler so far is not doing the business. India struggling for consistency now. West Indies 70 for 1 after 14.
Yes, indeed. Quite sure what I did there. We have a number of folks with us joining us left, right and centre on Cricket Tracker, which is fantastic news. Shivam Sharma says West Indies, so that's a prediction there. Disagreeing with Sandeep Singh Alu, who says India will win. MD Saif al-Islam says hi.
Hi.
Ajaz, oops, I've lost it there. Ajaz Jan Lekshani.
First ball of the 15th over. Hetmeyer wasn't going to wait too long before trying to take on Kuldeep Yadav. That was tossed up, it was in the slot, and that's launched over the stands, or rather over the field, into the stands at long on for 6. Glorious strike from Shimron Hetmeyer. It was tossed up wide of the off stump. It just didn't quite dip enough, though it did turn away, and Hetmeyer got the middle of that Surridge's bat onto it, and that went miles.
That was right in the slot.
It was, wasn't it? Jitan Chandar has a very good perspective, actually. Says, pitches like these provide a better contest between bat and ball than the usual belters. Fair point, I think.
I mean, you need a bit of variety, I think. I wouldn't want every pitch to be like this, because it is pretty slow. But yeah, a little bit of variety in pitches around the world is no bad thing. It's a little bit flatter from Kuldeep, and a good bit of fielding by, who is that at backward point? That is KL Rahul doing very well at backward point. Means there is no run. Sorry, Basil Akram was the Hampshire player I was thinking of. He only played 6 first-class games and 1 List A game.
He plays for...
He's played for a number of academy sides.
No, the club side he plays for is Salisbury, which my friend scores for.
A little bit of turn from Kuldeep, but a little bit too slow and a little bit too short and a little bit too wide. I think it's an easy punch out to Shivam Dubey on the cover boundary for Shimron Hetmeyer. I was actually at his 1 List A game. I covered it for Deep Extra Cover, playing for Hampshire against Yorkshire in a dead rubber Royal London One Day Cup game in 2014.
Now, did we mention Basil Thumpy?
Basil Thumpy, yes, of course, plays for... I don't think he's played for India, but he's played quite a lot in the IPL for the Sunrisers Hyderabad. A little bit of turn from Kuldeep, but again, Hope able to play him off the back foot and just nudges this into the leg side. They come through for a single. I don't think it'll be too long before Jadeja comes into the attack.
And you did say in the green room that you thought he might be very effective on this wicket.
He could do. If he manages to get turn at pace, then he could be very, very dangerous indeed. Kuldeep in. Oh, a googly which Hetmeyer did not read at all. Tried to play it off the pitch. A quicker googly which hurries. Hetmeyer turns sharply and he eventually sort of gloves it away from him and rolls between his feet. Lovely delivery from Kuldeep.
It was saved by the second line of defence there, basically. His back pad and his...
glove and box and other glove. All sorts going on.
It was a bit high. It probably would have gone over the top if he hadn't hit it.
I mean, there was a chance of a drag on, which is probably the more... I don't think it was ever a chance of LBW. That's the orthodox delivery. A little bit flatter, Kuldeep, a little bit flat in this over. Perhaps unsurprisingly, having been smashed back over long on for 6. 9 runs off the over, though. A good one for the West Indies, who are starting to pick up the pace a little bit now. 5.26 on over they are going, and the required run rate is now under 6. West Indies 79 for 1 after 15 overs, need 209 of the remaining 35.
Chris Acquire says, I found only 7 tests in 78-79, but it doesn't say who it is. But you didn't find Basil Thumpy, I don't think, Chris.
He's not played international cricket.
I think he... Are you sure? Maybe it's because he's only played IPL and...
he's certainly played quite a bit in
How
IPL.
Stat covers IPL, maybe that's what it is.
Yeah, he's a right-arm seamer.
Indeed. TV umpire says, really wasn't a very good tour for Cricket Scotland in the last few games. 4 games, 1 washed out, 1 win by the skin of their teeth, 2 losses. Particularly their batting faltered. I think Munsey needs to be either opened or to be saved only for T20.
George Munsey is a very powerful player, and yeah, that change is happening from the under pavilion end. Just the 1 over for Captain Underground, and here comes the sword, the swashbuckler himself. I'll bring you his jingle after his first ball, which is tight to off stump. Hetmeyer walked across to the offside and just nudges this into the leg side. Kuldeep Yadav field at deep square leg. They come through for a single off.
Ravindra Jadeja.
The ideal for India is that Jadeja and Kuldeep can slow the West Indies down to a crawl and create some pressure. That's tight to off stump, and Hope is forward, pushing into the offside. There is no run. Jadeja back to the end of his mark so quickly. But certainly India won't have any overrate worries.
I was amazed I managed to get the jingle in between balls there.
You sometimes get a whole over in before Jadeja finishes his jingle, or before we finish the Jadeja jingle. This is held back a little bit slow, a little bit of dip, and Jadeja dragging Hope forward. He plays this with no real timing to short extra cover. There is no run. He's in again, wider on the crease. That's turned sharply, a little bit too short though, and Hope can sort of flap it into the leg side. It goes straight of mid-wicket down to Mohammed Shami at long on. Odd fielder to have in a power position, as it were. But yeah, sharp turn from Jadeja.
If he gets that on a length, he'll be unplayable.
Yes, exactly.
Has his best career ODI figures against the West Indies, does Ravi Jadeja.
Champions Trophy, right?
You're right, 2013 at the Oval, I think.
That's turned sharply again from outside off stump. Again, just get that a little bit fuller, because Hetmar can play this kind of off the pitch, but 2 square leg it goes. There is no run, just 2 runs off the first 5 balls of Jadeja's over. He finishes up now. Hetmar going back in his crease and going trying to create some room outside leg stump, but can't beat Shreyas Iyer at point. Just the 2 runs off Jadeja's over. That's more like it as far as India are concerned. West Indies 81 for 1.
Yeah, 2013 against the West Indies in the ICC Trophy. Johnson Charles, Marlon Samuels, Sunil Nareen, Ravi Rampal and Sarwan were his victims that day.
Yeah, Jadeja has had a couple of good Champions Trophies. He had a decent Champions Trophy in 2017 too. I don't think I should.
Dinesh Dariwal simply says win. He doesn't say who. So you can't go too far wrong there unless it's a tie.
Yeah, but these two have played a tied one-day international. They played one. They may have played more than one, but they played one when when the West Indies were in India last year. A game we covered.
Indeed. M. Faizan Siddiqui says, hi from Pakistan. Hello to you.
Hello. Reverse sweep by Shea Hope, and nicely played. It was very slow from Kuldeep, so he had plenty of time, but a can't beat short third man. There is no run. There was another attempted. We're seeing the googly that turned sharply in the last over and had Hetmar in all sorts of trouble.
Let me see, who else do we have? Quite a few. India wins, says Sandeep
Kuldeep tosses this up. Hope has no idea which way the ball is about to turn. He's sort of shuffling around and going deep in his crease and blocking this one as it comes back into him into the leg side. There is no run. There is a slip. There is a short third man, a backward point, a cover, a long off, a long on, a mid wicket and a deep square leg as Kuldeep is in. A little googly, I think, a little bit quicker than Hope. Rather uncertainly prods this into the offside. There is no run. I think Kuldeep would love to bowl most of his overs at Shea Hope.
Yeah, because Shea Hope doesn't really have an idea off the front foot, and off the back foot he can only work balls for singles.
He doesn't come down the track like Hetmar does. Like, he can't even really work the singles around. This is the kind of issue with Shea Hope. And again, he's just sort of blocking hopefully at it. All rather hurried from Shea Hope. Blocked back to the bowler. There is no run. This is really good from Kuldeep Yadav.
Sinoj says Hetmar's going to get 65 plus. He's well on the way to that.
5th ball of the over. It's been really good from Kuldeep thus far, and it's going to be another dot ball punched off the back foot by Shea Hope to Virat Kohli, who's lurking there at short mid wicket. 5 dot balls in a row for Kuldeep Yadav in his 5th over. He's in the last ball of his 5th over, the 17th of the innings. A googly, which is a little bit fuller, and Hope can squirt this off the outside part of the bat down to Deepak Chahar at long off. But a good over from Kuldeep, just the 1 run off. He's gone for 27 off his 5, but that's mostly because of that treatment he got off his 4th over. West Indies 82 for 1 after 17, and that's drinks.
TV Umpire says these tournaments, like the one in the UAE at the moment, these tournaments always bring up players with interesting names. This time, Jonathan Figgy John.
That's very good.
That's a great name.
Namibia in the World Cup qualifier had 2 absolutely outstanding names, Picky Yafrance and Zhivago Grunewald.
It makes a change from being called Burger, because he always
was
called Burger before.
Yes, in the 2003 World Cup, I think they had 4 or 5 players called Burger.
Chris the Choir says, agree on both Basil Akram and Basil Thumpy, IPL not international. Yep. Yes. The missing Basil had the first name Alvedon and opened in his first test in a team with 2 Alvins.
Was it Basil Butcher?
Yes, Basil Butcher played for West Indies.
But I think we had him originally, so I don't think he's new. Linux Lear, the economical bowling is all fine and dandy, but I'd really prefer a glorious, gory carnage with lots of wickets.
Oh, there'll be some of that in this series, I'm sure. Vizag is a pretty fast-scoring wicket. We'll have that. That's what will be for the second of these one-day internationals. Cuttack, which is the 3rd game, is a little bit more sprint-friendly, kind of somewhere in between Vizag and Chennai in terms of its character. This pitch hasn't been as slow and turn-friendly as some of the ones in the IPL, but obviously this is relatively early in the season. When you get to the IPL, the pitches have had sort of 5 or 6 months of constant use and are kind of falling apart. Plus, this pitch has been relayed since the IPL.
Just imagine they have to relay or re-roll or drench and re-roll pretty much every year.
I mean, they don't do it as often as perhaps you might think. The reason we're talking about such things is because there is a drinks break. West Indies 82 for 1 off 17 overs that require 206 to win from the remaining 33 overs at 6.24 over. Shea Hope is 25 not out of 53. Shimmer and Hetmire is 41 not out of 43 not out of 41. Distinct difference in the strike rate. Shimmer and Hetmire scoring over twice as quickly as Shea Hope. The man to fall was Sunil Ambris, who was LBW to Deepak Chahar for 9.
That was a real good piece of bowling by Chahar, because he set him up with a whole pile of outswingers, and then the first in-swinger pretty much he bowled absolutely nailed in front.
It did. It was a super ball. MD Hassan has put 4 messages up. 3 of them say 100 with a love heart against them, and the other one says 50 with a love heart. I'm not quite sure what that's
for whom
related to. Well, that's what I'm wondering. Yeah,
100 or a 50 for whom?
MD Hassan, tell us a little bit more about your 100s and 50s and what they really mean, because we might be missing something there. I think they'll be happy enough, though, West Indies.
Yeah.
Providing they keep that just the 1 wicket down.
There's some power still in the hutch.
Yeah, there certainly is. Nicholas Pooran. Roston Chase batted very well in the Afghanistan series. Got Kyron Pollard, Jason Holder can all swing a bat, and Chemo Paul's not too bad with the bat either. We are back with the live action in Chennai. Jadeja's going to bowl the 18th over from the under pavilion end. Slip in place as Jadeja is into Shea Hope, who drives this nicely into the offside. There is a man on the point boundary. It's Shivam Dubey making his one-day international debut. They come through for a single.
Durban Oaks asking why we're commentating on this game.
Because it's on.
Well, because it's on, but then so are other games. But yeah, we conscious that we have a lot of listeners in India, and
there's also a friendly.
So it proves.
There's also quite a friendly. It's a much friendlier time zone than some of the other games. That
True
are on.
enough.
This is a short ball which Hetmire goes very deep in his crease to and forces off the back foot down to KL Rahul at long, and who I've got to say makes much more sense being at long on than Mohammed Shami does off the spinners.
Now here's a question that I really like. It's the same as Jadeja bowling because he's so quick. Won't have time to get it in. I might wait till the end of the over.
Here comes Jadeja to Shea Hope. Forward off the inside part of the bat it goes. Into the leg side. There is no run.
The question, okay, I'll see if I can get it in very quickly. It's Genro.
Hello.
I'll, wonderful cook and...
That's shown by lurking at slip as in comes Jadeja. Sharp turn, and Jadeja so quick as he manages to run around Shimmer and Hetmire, the non-striker, had field off his own bowling, but that one turned sharply. That's a very dangerous delivery when he gets it to turn at this pace.
Genro's question. Nope, won't have
Jadeja
time.
goes a little wider on the crease. Oh, trying to exacerbate that angle with the one turning, but that one goes straight on. He was bowling it 4-turn. Natural variations, like Rangana Herath at super speed. This Jadeja, 98 kilometres an hour, and Hope just blocked it into his own foot. There is no run. It was really good from Jadeja. A little bit fuller, a little bit flatter, and Hope blocked hurriedly into the offside. Great stuff from Jadeja, doing exactly what Virat Kohli needed him to do. 4 runs only off his 2 overs so far.
Okay, so here's the question from Jen Rowe, and it's a good one. It would probably... Oh, right. Is it possible to assemble a thoughts and feelings 11? So it would probably have Tim Payne keeping and Shai Hope chancing the runs.
Yes.
Any love?
Yeah, Martin Love.
Martin Love. There's one for you, Jen.
Love. Martin
Yorkshire.
Hate.
Martin.
Care. Any cares?
Alex Carey.
Carey is sort of like cuddly Carey. Yeah, he might just get away with that. There's a Kerr who plays for. Is it Danny Kerr?
Danny Kerr, the scrum
plays
half.
Rugby. Yeah.
That's a good one. Yeah, listeners, come on. What do you got for us?
You need to think of the emotions first, and then sort of retrofit a cricketer to them if you can.
That's what we're looking for. The emotions 11. So change at the V Potiburaman, and as Kuldeep is out of the attack after 5 overs, and the opening bowler comes back. Very good stuff from him. 4 overs, 1 maiden, 1 for 9.
Deepak Chahar, Fleming loved the sky. Deepak Chahar, he bowled a few sky high. Did they come down? He somehow bowled his way to success.
Jadeja's done the business from the under pavilion end, and the return of the opening bowler Deepak Chahar from the other end capitalise on the strangulation that Jadeja put on Hetmire and Hope. There's 4 men up in the offside as Chahar is in round the wicket to Shimmer and Hetmire. A slower delivery and nicely fielded off his own bowling by Deepak Chahar as Hetmire blocks it back to him. There is no run.
Cricketing View says calling someone a more upright bowler compared to Kedar Yadav is no description at all.
No, indeed.
Durban Oak is responding actually to the picture that that Ravi sent. Says looks like what was produced from a bad vasectomy.
That's as Chahar in a slower ball into the pitch from very wide of the crease, and Hetmeyer slogs this really with a great whip of the bottom hand into the leg side. Virat Kohli, I think that is deep mid-wicket fields. They come through for a single, but I think that was deliberate to try and get Hetmeyer off strike.
We're all wincing, I think, here at the idea of a bad vasectomy.
Yeah, well, I don't think I've seen the picture. Chris the Choir says Basil Williams, who debuted versus Australia in 1978, opened with Alvin Greenidge. Fun fact.
Alvin Greenidge.
Fun fact. Alvin Greenidge and Dwayne Leverock are brothers-in-law.
Ah.
Their nephew, Kamal
Yes.
Leverock, has played 12 T20s for Bermuda and 4 first-class matches for Cardiff University.
Yeah, he played for Bermuda in the World Cup qualifier along with Delray Rawlins of Sussex. So no slip for Deepak Chahar coming back in the middle overs. Slightly aerial from Shai Hope as he pushes this into the offside. Lovely seam position from Deepak Chahar. Another slow ball. He's bowled 3 in this over. It lands just short of Virat Kohli diving forward at cover. There is no run. Deepak Chahar has really improved and kind of grown as a bowler in this kind of outing as an international cricketer. In the IPL, he almost exclusively bowled in the power play, but has been used in the middle and at the death by India and has really shown the development of his skills. We've got a short third man, a deep point, a cover, a mid-off, a mid-on, a deep mid-wicket, a regular mid-wicket, and a short fine leg as Chahar is in back of a length, full of pace delivery, I think, and Hope forces this off the back foot. It takes a bobble off a rather corrugated outfield. Kuldeep comes in from long on to field. They come through for a single.
Corrugated outfield. Few people around the world. Sushil Paudel is watching from Nepal.
Hi,
And
regular.
Siraj Kumar Saxena is watching from Patna.
Welcome, welcome, welcome.
Hello to Toya Girl. Hello to Sabur Khan Marwat.
In comes Chahar from the V Pattabhiraman end as he's in back of a length, and Hetmeyer plays this very nicely and lovely timing into the leg side, but it's only ever going to be a single with Virat Kohli patrolling the mid-wicket boundary. Hetmeyer moves to 46.
Just looks so elegant that it just no effort at all. It's just a flowing bat that's just put it along the ground all the way to where he wants.
Mohammed Alam says good live.
Yes.
Sagar Resham Devi Panchal.
Panchal?
It's an L. Panchal says nice live. Thank you.
Thank you.
Like It Ali says good commentary.
Thank you.
And someone else whose name I'm afraid I can't read says Barbara Zamu Beauty.
He's a lovely player to watch, isn't he? Last ball of Chahar's, the first over of his second spell, is driven with no power or timing at all by Shai Hope to Virat Kohli at extra cover. So good stuff from Deepak Chahar. Just the 3 runs off it. West Indies 87 for 1. Now need almost 6.5 and over.
Did I miss something there? Because presumably the Pakistan game was edging its way towards an inevitable draw after 4 days of rain.
It was a draw. Pakistan.
Abid Ali got a ton. We're not sure whether.
Well, what did Babar
Azam got? 102.
Ah, there you go. That's why he's a beauty. They knew there had to be a reason.
He did well in Australia too, in a disastrous tour otherwise for Pakistan. Yeah, Abid Ali, the first male cricketer to score hundreds on ODI and a Test debut, which is pretty impressive. Jadeja's going to continue from the under pavilion end. Last ball of this particular commentary triad. Hetmeyer onto the back foot, just forces this down to KL Rahul at long on. They come through for a single. Hetmeyer's only able to get singles, and Shai Hope is so ineffective at rotating the strike that it's rather slowing the West Indies down.
It is. It pretty much guarantees there'll be less than 6 and over, which is what the required run rate is.
Unless Hetmeyer hits the first ball for 4 or 6. Jadeja going for the magic ball that pitches on leg and turns to off, and that's rather ruined it from Deepak Chahar. He bowled a really good over at the other end, but it was just turned straight to him at short fine leg, and he's let it roll through his legs. They've come through for 2, which keeps Shai Hope on strike, which I guess was kind of the desired effect. But it did take a bobble on this, slightly, as I say, slightly rough outfield, but that was poor from Deepak Chahar. An extra 2 runs given away for no reason. Hope stays inside the line of this and punches it down to long on. They come through long off rather. They come through for a single. So Jadeja, having gone for only 4 runs in his first 2 overs, has now gone for 4 of the first 3 balls of this over, most of which weren't his fault. Half of which weren't his fault.
When does Hope's ineffectiveness with the bat, particularly against
The spinners.
Spinner has become an issue.
I think it already is, isn't it? Sharp turn from Jadeja. Hetmaier was initially looking to smash that away over the leg side, but then had to adjust his stroke and just play it back to the bowler. There is no run. Jadeja in a short delivery. That's too short, and Hetmaier goes over the top of the mid-wicket fielder, but lands well short of Shivam Dubey coming in off the mid-wicket boundary. They come through for a single. Hetmaier was had visions of sending that over the stand, I think.
Chris Acquire says, little known Sri Lankan schoolboy cricketer Sad Gunawardena. South African regional under-19 player Happy Madal-Hopi.
Getting very obscure now. I like this.
Well, Happy, Mad and Hope all seem to be on there. Oh no, Lope, not Hope.
Excellent. Excellent research there, Chris. Full outside off stump, and Hope strokes this down too long. Off they come through for the single. I think that's 5 runs off that over for 6 runs off the over for Jadeja. We will have a change, and as the West Indies are 93 for 1 after 20 overs. David Brooks going to come on to ball by ball. I'm going to move over to jingles, and Jason's going to move over to tweets.
And I'm going out.
Alternative cricket commentary. Bringing you laughs, bringing you jingles, bringing you joy. We are gorillas. We need your Patreon.com/Gorilla Cricket.
Interesting stuff for in the last few overs. India just starting to put the squeeze on after the sort of combination fifth bowler of Jadhav and Dubey had gone for a few runs. Over to David Brooke.
And that one tucked away by Shea Hope. Down to deep square leg. Hello again, Nakul.
How are you doing? Yeah, this is certainly a partnership of a rather unequal partnership between Hope and Hetmaier. Hope 29 off 47 balls. Hetmaier 48 off 48. 30 off 48, in fact. Hetmaier's having to do a lot of work to keep the strike rate up.
Partnership is the operative word.
So far, yeah, but I don't know.
At least it is a partnership.
Yeah.
They've given them a platform, and they got Puran and Pollard, some big strikers to come. Holder.
Certainly do.
That's short and pulled by Hetmaier down to deep square leg for a single. And so West Indies 95 for 1. They're going at a rate of what are we seeing
4.67 runs.
Yeah, so that's up to 6.5 target now.
Yeah, but I mean, Shea Hope's batted 65 balls. He's batted almost 11 overs by himself, and he's scoring at under 3 and over.
Yeah, no, I agree with what you said before, that he just needs to work it around a bit more, and too many blocks and not enough nudges and nurdles.
I mean, even if his career strike rate is under 4.5 and over, if he pushes that to 5 and over, and he's averaging 50, he's so much more valuable to his team.
Chahar runs up, and that's another effectively a backward defensive block from Hope, who remains on 32, this time from 66. And Jason's on my left. Hello, afternoon to you, Jason.
Afternoon. Just checking. We've got some more emotions cricketers. Harry Fear played twice for Somerset in 1934, says Chris Acquire.
Chris Acquire, you are doing sterling research work. Very good indeed for this Emotions 11 we're going with Shea Hope.
Here's Chahar. That's short, and this is an attacking shot from Hope. If he wasn't going to play attacking shot to that one, who knows? It was pulled it out to long on, but it's only a single there, so he goes up to 33.
Good slower ball again by Deepak Chahar, dug into the wicket, which Hope didn't really pick.
And Linux here has an alternative view. He says, all these curious names are nice, but Napoleon Einstein is still the undisputed emperor, premier of silly cricket names.
That's pretty good. Indian first-class cricketer Sachin Baby is pretty good as well.
Washington Sandal.
Washington Sundar.
Sundar.
Yeah, has played international cricket and is developing into a very good cricketer indeed.
Here's Chahar to Hetmaier, and Hetmaier pulls that through to long on. Is going to jog a single, and that brings up the half century for Shimron Hetmaier, much appreciated by the West Indies supporters, and indeed by quite a few of the crowd here. Hetmaier, as is his fashion, holds up his bat with from the base of it upwards.
50 runs, you're 50 runs. Well done, well done, well done, well done. 50 runs, you're 50 runs. The job has only just begun.
Ooh.
50, 50 off a runner ball for Hetmeyer, but Hope had to keep that one out from Chahar. And that's the end of that over, and West Indies are 97 for 1.
Some shout outs to Quick Tracker. Himanshu Pandey says Hetmeyer is gone, India are on. That's wishful thinking, I think, at the moment.
I think if you're saying if Hetmeyer is gone.
Yes, exactly. M. Timi Bina Adru says Rohit is great. Shahid Ibrahim is missing MS Dhoni. Vinoth Vadakachi, I hope I pronounced that right, says Hope's going to get 100. Ajay Dalana says well done. And Shahid Ibrahim at the end with another thing that's in Gujarat or whatever that I can't understand. And Prasad Rao says the first match is going to go to West Indies.
Okay, so it's tantalisingly poised as Hetmeyer going through to his 4th ODI 50. He's also got 4 ODI centuries to his name.
It's 5th 50 and 400.
Oh, it's 5th, thank you. I know he's been a few people calling for his blood, but he's done well today. And that next ball is hit down by Hetmeyer for 2 runs down to mid-off. So he goes on to 52. Yeah, the pressure's been mounting on Hetmeyer, as much for his test match performances and disappointing by his standards World Cup, so he could do with these runs, and that's his second decent score.
There's a question of style in with Hetmeyer, because he's so talented, he gets judged by higher standards.
Indeed, I think that's right. And that next ball is played out to square leg and there's no run, but he's repaid the faith of the West Indies selectors. Even the selectors have changed. Roger Harper's now the chairman, but he's kept his faith with Hetmeyer, who pummels that one down to long off the back foot. It's very firmly hit. Shades of Puran about that shot. Of course, we're waiting to see Puran, who's carded to come in next. That's the 100 up for the West Indies. 100 for 1 off 21.3.
Got some more it's got some more emotions for you at the end of this over. Roger Prideaux from Pirate Bradshaw. TV umpire says after this,
Hope drives correctly down to long off for a single.
Nothing beats Starlin Hoover, Indian cricketer, played for Belagavi Panthers.
That's pretty good. Starlin Hoover is excellent.
Yeah. And Linux Deer says Sachin will always be a baby, no matter how old he is. I find that amusing.
Hetmeyer takes strike and goes for a big one. He's got a lot of aerial underneath that. It's going to go the whole way into the stand, over long on for a maximum from Shimron Hetmeyer.
Fabulous shot straight back over Jadeja's head.
That's the full long levers release to the bat there. He's used the whole of his lanky frame.
Off the back foot, and he really got underneath. He's gone for it again. This could be another maximum. It looks like he's got hold of it very well. Back into row 15 of the stand, and another straight successive 6 for Hetmeyer.
2 6s in a row. 2 6s in a row. 2 6s in a row.
Yeah, too short from Jadeja having been hit back over his head, and that was easy for Hetmeyer to rock onto the back foot and launch into those closed stands on the leg side there.
It's almost that you're expecting that, Knuckle, with the 2 6s in a row jingle?
No, he's just well poised in advance for that. But that's going to take a bit of recovery from that closed stand.
Yeah, someone scuttling in there with on hands and knees.
Whilst they're doing that, I'm going to have a quick check of the people on Facebook Live. Amir Ali Chang says hello. Zakir Khan says nice live. Sun Eagle says nice. And Iqbal Khan says out. I think that's a wish rather than an actual event.
Yes, sounds like wishful thinking. Hello to you all at Quick Tracker in India, as India defending this 287 for 8. West Indies 113 for 1 after those 2 6s. Current scoring rate's gone above 5 and over, and the required run rate is 6.25. The last 5 overs have gone for 31. Most of those to Hetmeyer, who's now 65 from 55. He's taking a well-earned drink. Did you enjoy the ting earlier, Knuckle?
Ting, yeah, a lovely, refreshing, grapefruity thing. That was very nice. Thank you very much.
From the Caribbean.
Yeah, lovely. Hetmeyer scored some runs when when the West Indies were last in India. He's got an excellent 100 and a 50 during that series, which was pretty close. That 2-match series, 5-match series was won, I think, 3-1 in the end. But there was a tied game in there, and a game that the West Indies were very close to winning in that in that series last year. Jadeja's finger's taking a little bit of a battering in that over.
I mean,
Actually was the ball, because as we just saw it on the TV, instead of going into the stand, you've got that nice little sliver in between the stand and the stand next to it, so it bounced hard on the concrete and played pinball around the back of the stand.
Nicely done. And Hetmeyer is showing his true worth here, 65 from 55.
We do have a change of bowling. Deepak Chahar whipped out of the attack after just a couple of overs, and this man on debut is back.
You a Shivan Dubé, treat the bowlers roughly. He's got the skills you need, and he's right buff, really. He's hitting sixes, not making duck eggs. So take this guy on if you feel like getting clubbed.
Shivan Dubé, we're relieved to see that it's Shea Hope he has to bowl to the first ball, which Hope gets off strike, nudges it down to third man. Yeah, these are big runs for Hetmeyer. You know, big runs in the context of this match, big runs in the context of any cricketer's career in India just before an IPL.
Well, indeed, yeah, he was released by the Royal Challengers Bangalore, and the IPL auction is next week.
Well timed, isn't it?
Yeah, very.
You could say that they're valuable runs in more ways than one. Valuable to his team and valuable to his own bank balance, perhaps.
Yeah, perhaps, and for his career and his
personal development.
The perception of him as a West Indies cricketer, a little bit like
Yes.
Rishabh Pant gets some of the same criticism for being a bit hot-headed, but Rishabh Pant played a very nice innings today.
He did indeed. Here's Dubé, and that's almost a caught and bowled opportunity there. Hetmeyer just playing a fraction too early, but it bounced in front of the tall figure of Dubé, so if he couldn't get to it, certainly none of the other bowlers would have done.
Chris Lequire come back with an absolute stonker here for you, Knuckle. He said you wanted research. Here's one. Avinash Aware played for Goa. Aware is Japanese for the bittersweetness of a brief, fading moment of transcendent beauty. Yes, we are not worthy.
That is outstanding. You can make that a haiku based on his name, please. Wonderful stuff.
Dubé, that's mistimed by Hetmeyer. Missed out on that one. Drives to mid-off. There's no run.
Yes, I think
We have a high class of listener here on Guerrilla Cricket.
Just looking at Dubé's record in this day cricket. What have you made of his debut so far, Knuckle?
He didn't really get that much to do with the bat. Obviously, he had to hit out at that time and hit one straight down Jason Holder's throat. But I think he's got work to do if he's going to be a regular fifth bowler.
That's short, and Hetmeyer pulls that one away.
Power.
Gets the gap between long on and deep mid wicket, and that's gone for 4.
That went like a tracer bullet.
Absolutely mullered by Shimron Hetmeyer.
Just airing on his length there, almost heard the words of Knuckle. He had work to do on his bowling, said Knuckle, and at that moment he dropped it short, Dubé, and it's got appreciation of the bench, captain and coach.
it's the long levers, and when you get that with timing as well, it makes such a difference.
Yeah, it's just too short from Shivram Dubé at his pace. He's not quick enough to be able to bowl half trackers.
Let's see where this one goes. It's a better ball. It squares up Hetmeyer a little, and he gets that away to deep cover. They're going to jog through for a single. So the runs coming aplenty for Hetmeyer. He moves up to 70 from just 59 balls. So Dubé is a batting all-rounder.
Yeah, he is. Would probably
he
be
looked classy for this couple of shots he
he stands very upright. He hits well over the leg side and straight as well. But he's kind of he's in the team because Hardik Pandya is still recovering from back surgery.
And he's been targeted by the West Indies in this innings.
Yes, he has. But they need to find 10 overs between Shivram Dubé and Kedar Jadhav.
And so far they've had 4 overs effectively for 32.
Yeah, you're right. It's a costly, and that's tucked away by Hope. That's better from Hope. He's found the gap there. It's a comfortable single. He'll keep the strike. 23 overs. West Indies 120 for 1.
Prakash Simkada says on Quick Tracker that I wish West Indies would win the first ODI in this series to keep it live for the whole series. Paminda Sidhu says hi. Surajit Chakraborty says I think India will win this match. And hello from Prasad Rao. I think he's actually given us a procession of how he thinks the game will go. It's 116 for 2, 133 for 3, 156 for 4, 165 for 5, 171 for 6, 182 for 7, 188 for 8, 195 for 9, and 202 for 10. So
if you get a third of those correct, I'll be stunned.
Yeah,
and suspicious.
The fix is in, I think.
I mean, very much so.
Allegedly.
That is a very specific set of predictions, and we applaud you for your foolhardy bravery.
And Nadad Ali also comes in and says, good.
Good indeed.
Jadeja back into the attack. He's going to bowl to Hope. Hope's on 36 from 71, so that strike rate from Hope hasn't really increased too much. He's on 50, but there's a partnership that counts, and these two have put on. And now, let's see, last wicket
109.
fell. Yeah, 109. Thanks, Knuckle. That's tucks away. No run off the first ball from Hope. Hetmar having an opportunity to have a rest at the non-striker's end. Here is Jadeja, who bowls. This time Hope does manage to turn it away for a single, down to square, just round the corner from square leg.
Where does his lid go between overs? Is it someone running on and off every over?
I think so, yeah.
Because I can't imagine the square leg umpire would be particularly pleased to have it handed to him.
No, and I can't imagine the fielding side would want an extra helmet on the field for potential penalty runs.
Well, 12th man must be getting busy whilst Jadeja's on.
I imagine he's hiding down on the boundary, isn't it, if they're switching between seamers and spinners, because Hetmyer reflexively takes his helmet off when the spinners come on.
Yeah, it's going to be a situation where a non-fielding 12th man probably has more exercise in this innings than some of the fielders.
Certainly, who was the person we barely saw during the first innings? It was
Sunil Ambrose?
Yes, it was Ambrose. He was.
Oh, yeah.
He was sort of hiding away, not being used at all.
Hidden down at short third man.
Jadeja bowls that one wide of the crease. That's nicely cut away by Hetmyer. He's beaten the fielder at backward point. Is it going to go all the way? It's a rather untimely dive. And who was that out there?
Deepak Chahar. That wasn't a dive. That was a stop.
Well, it was like almost he was. He just
went
went to ground.
It's a vanity dive.
Yeah, he went to ground. There was no way he was going to stop that.
2 + 2 is our man.
Yeah, he dived a little bit too early, Deepak Chahar, and just stopped.
This is nicely turned away off his legs by Hetmyer. It's going to take a single this time. Yeah, it was a sort of talk about a futile dive. It was one. No chance of stopping.
Do you remember that blockathon that England pulled off in Auckland in 2013, where Monty Panesar had to dive full length into his crease and commando crawl over the line?
Oh yes,
that's kind of what that reminded me of.
Yes, exactly. 126 for 1. Hetmyer on 75 at the non-striker's end. Hope, what's he going to do this time? He blocks, but this time manages to get some direction onto that block, and it just squirts it out.
But he's still only scoring at just over 50 runs, 100 balls. 38 off 74. I mean, he's being held up by Hetmyer, scoring well over a run of ball at the other end.
Well, that's a partnership.
It is,
Jason. That's what a partnership's all about. Look at that score: 127 for 1.
Yeah, it's not how many. Sorry, it's not how, it's how many.
As long as one of them's doing it, and that's there's obviously a game plan that Hope is going to take that role, and Hetmyer turns it round the corner. And given West Indies' history of batting collapses, that surely there is something to be said for someone playing that role.
Yes, although he's still got to be scoring quicker if he's going to be playing that role. 4.5 and over for a whole career, and he's now played this is his 70th one-day international. He's 26 years old. Shea Hope. He's not a rookie anymore by any means, and a player of his quality. It's just a question of degrees, and I think some of those batting collapses might be sometimes, and we saw this during the World Cup. I think the game against Bangladesh is a very good example. Just put so much pressure on the guys at the other end that they have to score quickly.
Well, the required rate, we're up to, let's see, 6. It's under 6 now, isn't it? It's just quickly check the stats on that. And as Dubé prepares to come in again, the target run rate 6 and over. And if you've got 9 wickets in hand as you start the last 20, you're going to be in pole position to win this match. So I'm still backing Hope at this stage. Dubé bowls, and that's played away nicely by Hetmyer, and that's going to go to the boundary just behind square on the offside. Beautiful shot from Hetmyer.
Well, if you're looking at it in T20 terms, they're probably going to be on about 155, 160 at the 30 over point, requiring another 140. So
yeah, and he'll have 8 overs between Dubé and Jadeja. Sorry, not on Jadeja, Jadhav.
Well, on current run rate, they'll have 120 off the last 20 to get.
India might have to bring back their strike bowlers earlier than they would want to otherwise, and try and get a wicket before going to the change bowlers.
Tough initiation this for Dubé, who bowls back of a length, and that's played out to extra cover, and there's no run.
Yes, we don't have a wasp or anything like that on the Star Sports' coverage, but Linux Deer says India needs some wickets, methinks. Indies are well on track for a victory here.
Yeah, Deepak Chahar getting a little bit of attention to his lower back from the Indian physio there. I wonder if that was caused with that slightly ungainly dive.
It was a futile dive, and now it actually caused some damage. That's played driven by Hetmai. He wants a single, he comes fast and gets it in the end.
That would be bad news for India because he bowled quite well.
Yeah, and India have got 4.5 bowlers basically, or 4 bowlers and then 2 half bowlers, if that makes any sense, in Jadhav and
given
Shivam Dubey.
All the bowling talent available to the Indian squad, that seems an astonishing thing to go into.
Well, obviously Bhuvi and Bumrah are injured at the moment, so is Hardik Pandya, but they obviously in the squad they've got Yuzvendra Chahal, but you can't. They wanted to go in with some sort of shortish tail.
Dubey, that hits the pads of Hope. They're going to go through for a leg bye there, I think, or does he get a little bit of bat on that? No, it's a leg bye, signalled by umpire George, isn't it? And 134 for 1.
I think it's umpire Menon at this stage. Umpire George at the other end.
Thank you.
That's better from Shivam Dubey though. Slower and straighter, I think, is definitely the way to go. Take the pace off it a little bit, make Hope and Hetmai work for it a little bit.
And Linux Deer says the monster Monty Panesar should be a fielding coach. Cricket would be so much more entertaining.
He's a political pundit these days, Monty Panesar.
The mind boggles Dubey, and that's nicely tucked away by Hetmai with a flick of the wrists. Goes down to long on for a single. So Dubey's about to complete his 4th over, and he's gone for 28. So I wonder how many overs they're going to try and get out of Dubey. Not looking to trouble the batsman too much. Kuldeep is warming up.
Yeah, I think he has to come back fairly soon.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if Shami came back for a couple of overs too. I mean, Shami's not really a death bowler either. Deepak Chahar certainly is.
What's Hope going to do to this last ball of the over? Tucks it away off his legs. It's just going to settle for a single down to deep square leg. So Hope's going to continue to make his leisurely progress. The most important thing, the partnership, is up to 127 as West Indies go to 136 for 1 at the halfway stage, 25 overs.
This is looking quite comfortable for the West Indies in the last sort of 5 or 6 overs.
Yep.
Yeah, it'd be a wonderful result for West Indies to go, and if they can get this across the line. And all too often West Indies have throw away winning positions. I mean, this is clearly a winning position now, but all too often we've seen West Indies throw it away. So if Shai Hope and Hetmai can stay in for longer, another half an hour, it could be the difference.
Yeah, minimise the work that Pooran and Pollard and Holder and Chase have to do.
And the rest of the talented but potentially brittle batting lineup.
Exactly, yeah.
I mean, they do have someone like Roston Chase who you can bat around in the middle order. He's got a calm head. He's not a hitter like some of the other guys. I mean, Kieran Pollard is also very calm. He's done this a lot, but certainly Pooran and Pollard and Holder are hitters.
It'll be interesting to see whether Roston Chase replaces Hope when in the batting order and doesn't come in as long as Hope is there. I don't think Pollard or Simmons, the coach, will want to see Hope and Chase
two accumulators
together.
at the same time. We do have that change that I was thinking about, and the other opening bowler is back into the attack.
When he gets from the ball, he goes back to the top of his mark, where he stops and he turns and he goes for a strike till he gets to the green and he bowls it again.
Mohammad Shami it is, as predicted by Knuckle, back into the attack. The India's strike bowler, and that gets an inside edge of his glove by Shai Hope. Came back off the seam. Shai Hope's managed to get something on that, either a glove or inside edge, and it's gone through for 4 directly behind the wicketkeeper.
Look out, Mohammad Shami, Mohammad Shami, Mohammad Shami.
Hope didn't have a clue.
No, inside edge, moral victory for the bowler.
Could have gone anywhere, down onto the stumps.
Well, I seem to remember a couple of those in the Indian innings as well. So it's the same for both sides. Here comes Shami, and he bowls. That's outside the off-stump. Nice shot from Hope, but again he's going to have to settle for a single. There's a man out in the deep, and but Hope beginning to time the ball.
He's done his job for this over already.
He has. He got off strike, and he's done it in convincing style. So moves on to 44. In sight of yet another half century in this year of runs for Shai Hope. He's right up there as the top run scorer for West Indies, and also very highly placed in the top aggregate.
Oh, that doesn't look good.
He's fourth, I think, overall in terms of ODI runs in 2019. Yeah, Deepak Chahar is sitting down beyond the boundary. Manish Pandey is on as a sub fielder. This is not good news if one of India's main bowlers is unable to continue. Could see Virat Kohli bowling at this rate.
I mean, it was a pretty village piece of cricket that got to sustain that injury. Shami bowls, and that's no run. Hetmeyer pushes that out. It would be irony, extreme irony, if that sort of schoolboy dive, self-inflicted, futile dive, was responsible for an injury that means that he can't get back onto bowl.
Waiting for that to pan out. Chris Carr says, whilst there's no cricketer to match this, talking about the emotion, I think this emotion is too good not to share. Gigil in Tagalog, the urge to pinch or squeeze something that is unbearably cute. Obviously, acting on it is quite a different matter.
Shami, that's well pitched up. It's a Yorker, but dug out by Hetmeyer. They're going to go take a quick single down to long off.
Terrible throw. Ow!
Rishabh Pant had to work incredibly hard to try and get to that as Kohli. If it wasn't that bad a throw, he didn't miss the stumps at the non-strikers and by that much, but it hurtled away sort of through third man basically, and Pant had to try and prevent any overthrows, and he only managed to prevent one overthrow. We've now got two sub-fielders on. Mayank Agarwal and Manish Pandey are both on. Mayank Agarwal who threw the ball in, and then Pant sort of spilled it a little bit.
Oh, he had it and then he punched it away with his gloves. And I think, to be fair, the man from third man or fine leg was coming up so much that he would have just got it anyway.
Shami dropped short. That's a wonderful shot from Hetmeyer. You've come a long way to see a shot like that. The Indian supporters must surely appreciate that. Maximum into the deep square leg boundary.
Let's talk about sex. Let's talk about sex. Let's talk about sex. Let's talk about sex.
A shot that would have graced any West Indies team of the last 40 years. That on the back foot, swinging right through with a lovely clean follow through, and that's gone into
the sweet spot of the bat.
Sweet spot. That was a lovely. That was worth the price of the admission, which of course is free on Guerrilla Cricket. But do give us a donation on Patreon.com. We want to keep our coverage free so that everyone can enjoy it all over the world. There's not enough cricket available free to air. And this is free-to-air coverage, courtesy of Guerrilla Cricket from Chennai, as Mohammed Sami bowls that out to cover a point, and there's no run. Actually, from Sydenham in southeast London, but we may as well be in Chennai. It's cooler here.
It certainly is. 149 for one. Shami going for 10-13 in that over. That was a monster hit from Shimron Hetmeyer again into that closed stand over square leg.
I mean, we hear about players, powering the ball over the boundary with their big bats and stuff, but Hetmeyer, diminutive stature, it's all about the follow through, isn't it, with Hetmeyer?
His timing's great. I mean, he's tall-ish. He's not very he's not built, but he's got long levers, as Jason was saying, and his bat speed is superb. Yeah. We have a change at the other end, so Jadeja is now changing ends to the V Patabiraman, and Dubey and Jadhav really not showing that they can be trusted at this stage.
This will mean a lot to West Indies if they can get this one across the line. And it's India under pressure at the moment. As you say, Knuckle, there's two substitute fielders out there, and now Jadeja's having to come back into the attack. He beats Hope with the outside edge, spins that one off a length, and there's an appeal for a stumping appeal, which umpire's going to go up to the third umpire to have a look at that. I don't think the batsman's in too much trouble. What do you think, Jace?
Well, he's asking for a drink, so I don't think he's got any worries at all.
We did drag the foot not quite out, though, of the crease. He just about managed to keep the foot grounded. Good work from Rishabh Pant, though. I don't think he could have got the bails off much quicker than that.
Yeah, Pant making up for his little spill from that attempted stop in the last over. It wasn't a drop catch in the last over, but he did cause an overthrow, a buzzer, as Bumble would say. So 149 for one, but nice bit of turn from Jadeja, who's very much something of a match winner for India on many occasions. Can he rise to the occasion here and get the vital breakthrough? Because this partnership now worth 138. I was right the first time. This one is tossed up, and Hope gets it through the inner ring, and it's going to down to extra cover. And Hope doing his job, goes for a single. That's the 150 up for the West Indies off 26.2 overs. So giving India something to think about here. The odds, I haven't looked at the odds recently on Betway, but it'd be interesting, Knuckle, to see how short West Indies are now and whether India bet tempts you in any way, given West Indies' history of screwing up these run chases.
Put it this way, a team in the West Indies position should win this game from
is West Indies.
Yeah.
In most circumstances.
I speak as a well-declared supporter. Jadeja bowls, and that's played out by Hetmeyer for no run. Given the West Indies' record of messing up these run chases, what odds can we get on India at this stage?
Just their record of not really winning. That they whitewashed Afghanistan.
Back foot goes Hetmeyer. No run there. It's practically fielded by the skipper.
But that's their first bilateral series win in 5 years.
Exactly.
So this is not a team used to winning in one-day international cricket from any position.
So I'm itching, I'm sure you are as well, to have a little bet here. Oh, Hetmeyer's gone down with some cramp. That won't please the West Indies dugout. Let's see if the physio is going to come on to deal with this.
Shall I get through some quick tracker comments whilst he's doing that?
Hetmeyer's
playing one of the innings of his life, and West Indies is way ahead, says Hemanta KR Patti. Salman Khan says yes. Jaya Prakash says West Indies are going to win. Pashtun Khan says play live. I'm sorry, we can't do that. We don't have the rights. And Azad Zazarsi Shadkania says good batting.
Yeah, it is very good indeed from Hetmeyer. There will be a little bit of a delay while Shimron Hetmeyer gets some treatment. This, frankly, might just tempt him to start hitting out even more if he can't run.
Yeah. Linux Deer on Twitter says Monty Panesar's a political pundit. What?
On the election.
This is part of the mad world that is Great Britain as it stands nowadays.
West Indies are heavy favourites. A sample odds would be that India currently 11-4, West Indies 7-2 on.
Are you tempted by that 11-4, Knuckle?
I don't bet much on cricket, but I think that's a decent price. I think.
Yeah.
For India in a home one-day international against a team like the West Indies, who don't win very often.
Yeah, as if you were to bastardise a take that single, it only takes a wicket.
It only takes a wicket.
Yeah, I mean, what we saw in the India innings,
especially if it's Hetmeyer.
Well, I mean, if you get Hetmeyer and then Pooran very quickly, suddenly all the pressure mounts even further on Shai Hope, who is at the moment just able to just kind of play his game and not worry about scoring runs quickly. But
he's not looking very happy at all.
Hetmeyer having a rueful smile. He's actually face down on the ground, horizontal.
I think someone is stretching his tendons and trying to get rid of the cramp.
He's in a bit of pain now, Hetmeyer, but also having a little
take
grin
the
as well.
pills, take the pills, take the salt pill,
take the magic spray. I wonder if hopefully for India this is just cramp. For the West Indies this is just cramp. It's not a normal position to be treated for cramp in on that when you're prone.
You normally.
Oh, there we go. Now he's got the pad off and he's on his back and he's having his leg stretched. That seems more like it if it is cramp. He has taken a pill now.
Yeah, it's normally salt and electrolytes to rebalance yourself.
Going to have a little bit of a delay here, and we can reflect on who's to come in the hutch. Nicholas Pooran, another very exciting stroke make, another left-hander, very strong off the back foot. He's due in next. Roston Chase, well, he's got a strike rate of just 76, so I think he'll probably be held back until Shai Hope is out. And then the skipper, of course, who showed a sign of his form in the last game with a 65.
Yeah, pretty much doomed in the end because India's got 240. But yeah, he's got his career best T20 international total in that third T20 international at the Wankhede, and has been in good form over the last year or so.
Hetmeyer's back on his feet. He's taking a drink. He's still got his pad to put on,
he's going to be doing that as slowly as possible to give his body enough time to get those electrolytes into it and working.
Reminder that the second one-day international is on Wednesday. That will be another 8 o'clock.
We'll be on air 7:50 a.m. UK time.
7:50 a.m. That comes from Knuckle. How would you like to pronounce that stadium?
Visakhapatnam, or Vizag as it's commonly known.
Vizag, that would suit me. Yeah, whereabouts is that?
That's about halfway up the east coast of India.
Yeah.
Well, basically we're heading up the east coast So Chennai is in the southeast, Vizag is about halfway up, and then Cuttack is in the northeast.
How will you be getting there?
How will they be getting there?
On the
back foot goes
train or plane?
Definitely plane.
I'll see you there. Okay.
Definitely plane.
Yeah. 150 for 1. The game resumes now with a defensive shot from Hetmeyer. See if he's been restricted at all in his movement. Well, he's played 2 dot balls, which is unusual for him. That's the end of the over. 27 have gone West Indies on 150 for 1.
I think he would have taken the single there if he'd been if he'd had both of his legs working.
Yeah.
But I think that it might be a little bit block or slog, which probably suits India quite well. And I would get Kuldeep Yadav on at the other end now if Hetmeyer's not able to stretch.
The next ear says, talking about Montpellier, I mean, he's about as qualified for the job as Boris is for his.
Well, quite.
Well. And there's, of course, Chris Acquire says, there's, of course, a very famous footballer with an emotional name, Gerard Piqué. The feeling when you realise he's not only rich and famous, but he's also married to Shakira.
Tennis tournament organiser Gerard Piqué redesigned the Davis Cup.
Which massively advantageous to Great Britain this year.
And Spain. Rafa Nadal was absolutely outstanding for Spain in the Davis Cup this year. The whole thing kind of happened in a week rather than over a year. I
think it was arranged to have 4 rounds in a fortnight, something like that.
Mohamed Shami to continue. There's a few changes to the field, and pressure is on India. But can West Indies get this one over the line? Or can they at least get within striking range of that target of 288 to win? They're on 150 for 1, so they're over halfway. As Shami bowls to Hope, who it's another dot ball as he plays it straight back to the bowler. Shami does his own fielding, and he's on 45. Shai Hope, he'll take his credit for this partnership of 139.
He will if the West Indies win. It's one of those innings you don't know how good it is until the end of the game.
It's a trot innings.
But
use the
but it's a lot
Trot.
slower than Trot ever was. Trot was quite a bit quicker.
Yeah, Trot's strike rate was surprisingly high.
It was,
but he did get the same sort of criticism that Hope is getting. Shami bowls, that's well pitched up. Again, it's another dot ball as Hope drives that straight to extra cover. That's probably an example of where Shai Hope does make his supporters frustrated. He could have squirted that in any direction.
There's a lot of shots. It looks very nice, and you say, oh, that's one if you're playing in an indoor net, but it's gone straight to the fielder.
Yeah. It looks like a glorious shot, but when you've got 9 fielders to help you as a bowler, it's going to go to some of them some of the time.
But the partnership is a runner ball as Shami bowls that short, and Hope pulls out of a big shot, ends up just playing it down to a square leg for a single. It's almost lining up as though he was going to play a big shot. The ball came onto him much slower than anticipated. He ends up just paddling it round the corner. For single, he moves on to 46. He then practices a much more aggressive version of the same shot.
Yeah, Shai Hope was the absolute ultimate Shai Hope in the series against Afghanistan. Scored 229 runs, was only dismissed once in the series, but was scoring at about 3 and over, or 3.5 and over. And there was finding, on very slow pitches when the totals weren't that big, but this is a very different challenge.
When he's given the strike to Hetmeyer now, he's got 3 balls to face this over. Let's see if his movement is restricted. He drives that pleasantly enough and sets off reasonably quickly for a single, so West Indies fans will breathe a sigh of relief on that. He didn't look too discomforted by that, although is there a slight hobble at that end?
He's walking a bit gingerly after that quick single.
It
was a fairly safe single. He set off straight away, and the throw was always going to the far end.
Well, you'd have to drag Hetmeyer off the field at this stage because he's on 91 not out. He'll want that century, and everyone will be willing him on the West Indies bench to achieve that landmark. Karen Pollard looking reasonably relaxed in the dugout. He's sort of
his face doesn't give much away ever.
Well,
really
that's
does.
true. Yeah, and he's having a little chat with Simmons and Roll Lewis, the tour manager, and that's stopped short. And Shai Hope plays it stylishly, but again only for a single.
Imagine Hetmeyer is loving all his singles at the moment.
But he won't want to be running too much. He's only got 1 ball.
No, he'd be hoping up against Hope that Shami bowls something that he can smash for a boundary and not have to scamper down the other end for 1, and probably no chance of making any 2s anytime soon.
Well, you don't think he's had the sign from the bench to hit out or get out, which is what would happen in club cricket, wouldn't it? You get the sign. You've had that when you're batting, Knuckle?
I've never been batting for long enough.
Shami's going to finish his over now. He's bowling over the wicket to Hetmeyer. That's well pitched up. It's almost a Yorker, but it's driven down by Hetmire to long on. They jog through for singles, so that's a decent over from Shammy at the end of 28. West Indies won 5-4 for 1.
Just the 4 runs off the over, and suddenly the required run rate back up over 6 again.
Did we just see Chahar come back onto the field and Pandey was removed there?
I think so. Rohit Sharma is also back on the field, so I'm not quite sure who Mayank Agarwal is on for. Good spot.
That 11-4, I can now top that. It's just under 3-1 on Betfair, Betway, I should say. Other betting exchanges are available, and so will that tempt anyone out there? What do you think, Crick Tracker? Do you think that India are going to win, or do you think West Indies are going to win? Any optimists out there at Crick Tracker? Let us know in India, where we're being distributed courtesy of Crick Tracker. If you're listening in wherever you are in the world, let us know where you're listening to us from on this Sunday in Chennai.
Talking about Crick Tracker, Mansoor Kazmi, who's with us, he says, who will tell today Babar Azam score? Babar Azam got 100.
He got another 100.
As did Abid Ali.
Yeah, 100 not out, having done very well in Australia. Obviously, that game petered out to a draw because about half the game was affected by rain. We do have that change. It's spinner for spinner at the V Pothabiraman end.
I thought that Kuldeep was science fiction until I saw him today. Now that Yadav is my addiction, I've thrown all that Virat junk away.
And some more shout-outs. Azad Kiani says 100, talking about...
Yadav, that one turns away from Hetmire. He has to reach for it, but he makes reasonable contact. It's going to get a single. They're down to deep cover point.
Very
boundary.
clever bowling to an injured batsman.
Yes.
Stretch it, get him, toss it up, get it wide of him, get him stretching forward.
Yeah, and also Chandan Singh is with us, Ahmed Hassan is with us, Halai Jani is with us.
Welcome everybody, this game bubbling up nicely.
As is Rohit Kumar and Mahesh Samani.
Hello everyone on Crick Tracker.
It's one of those games where the West Indies might not ever actually be ahead of the rate until they win.
Well, if they need 6 off the last over, then they'll be happy with that, won't they? And that's scooped away by Hope down to deep mid wicket. He's going to looking like he's going to proceed in singles.
Well, Manish Pandey is still on the field. Hope's shirt is absolutely sodden with sweat. So is Hetmire's.
Yeah.
I'm working up a sweat just watching them at the moment. The lights are on here at Sydenham.
I wonder how many sets of gloves they go through in a match like this.
Indeed, yeah.
Yeah, I give that one some air. It spins away again from Hetmire. As you say, it's clever bowling knuckle, this from Yadav.
Yeah, but as long as he gets a bat on it, it's almost guaranteed to be a single.
157.
Okay, he has to run the single, so that's stressing his
Well,
joints.
what they're trying to do is to get Hetmire to try and slog one of those over the leg side and get a big top edge or leading edge.
And so far he's resisted because he's yet to get to 100, but once he gets to 100, will he change his plan?
Yadav to Hope, and Hope finds the gap up to long on, where there's an easy single being offered to him. He goes on to 49.
One would hope not.
Yeah.
More Hope puns.
Don't be shy, Jason.
Let us have all the Hope puns, Jace.
No, I
Hope
won't.
for the best.
Lioness Leah says he should make a cringe comedy after this ball.
Yadav, and that again is spins away from Hetmire. He manages to... Is that going to go all the way?
Well
No, it's an
fielded.
acrobatic bit of fielding there. Come in number 2. There's 21, I beg your pardon. That is
Manish Pandey,
Manish
subfielder.
Pandey, the sub. And they get 2 to Hetmire. Thanks to that knuckle.
Oh, and now he's the man.
He's holding
This
his
outfield,
elbow.
I think, is quite hard. So we've seen a few players hit the ground very hard.
It was rather nicely placed by Hetmire, wasn't it? He didn't put a lot of force behind that shot, but it travelled.
He waited for it
Yeah.
quite well
I
and
think,
placed it behind
I think the man
square.
at backward point dived over it a little bit.
Well, he's on 96 now. Is he going to go to a century with a boundary? What an innings this will be for Shimron Hetmire at Koldav Yadav bowls. That's 4 defensive solidly, as though a boundary was the last thing on his mind. As I say, Hetmire will know more than anyone, especially with the critical media in the West Indies, that his place has been on the line, and he's repaying the faith of the selectors today. He's on 96. West Indies 158 for 1.
6 runs off that over, and it was hard work for Hetmire.
Yep. Leah says they should make something cringe comedy, a really unlikable cricket team, something like the Great Cricketer by way of Bollywood. It's always sunny in Visakhapatnam.
Very nice.
I watched the hell out of that. And Incoming Reindeer says, being awake a few hours here in the eastern US, North Carolina, I think it will be very hard for West Indies to screw this up at this point, so I predict a Windies win. Well, we certainly hope so, but nothing is impossible where West Indies are concerned.
You got
Is that a pun on hope or genuine wish to see West Indies win, Jason?
I think it would be good for the series and it would be good for cricket in general.
It would, that's true. And we're looking back on the second ODI in 2018, where there was indeed a tie at 321. Do you remember that? Hope got 123 not out
Again,
that day.
a slow 100 from Hope and a really good knock from Hetmeyer.
Yadav blocked by Hope.
Jadeja.
Sorry, Jadeja, and it's blocked by Hope, who remains on
Jadeja's
49.
ends again. Yes, he has. Jadeja's bowled from both ends in the last 3 overs.
This is usually the point in the game where Jadeja takes a match-winning 2 or 3 wickets. He has to affect the outcome of every match he plays in. He's yet to affect this one in a major way. He bowls and Hope, well, he has him on the back foot jumping around there. Has 2 dot balls and Hope remains on 49.
I suppose as Jadeja's switched ends, we should jingle him again.
He bowls again, and that's that's still no 54. Hope 3 dot balls in a row as he looks for that 1 run, and pressure mounting on Shea Hope here. He needs to get Hetmeyer on strike. They can't afford a maiden over at this stage of the match. This is the 30th over, and the West Indies still got some work to do. 130 runs off. Another dot ball. We may even see a maiden over. 4 dots in a row.
That's very clever
as
from Jadeja.
Hope is marooned on 49 here.
And I see I hear the hooves of a replacement coming.
Do Bishops have hooves?
7-2 India at this stage. That's looking good value, and that's again hit straight to cover point. So that's 5 dot balls in a row. A maiden over at this stage would be what an achievement from Jadeja. He's got Hope pinned there on 49.
Last ball of the over, tossed up outside off stump, really
what's
slow.
Hope going to do to this? And he's going to get the run. That's his half century off 92 balls. That's 30 overs. 161 for 1. Tony Bishop's going to come back onto the ball by ball, and I'm going to go to one of the chairs on either side of me.
David's coming onto this here jingle chair. We'll play the 50 jingle for Shai Hope's half century.
50 runs, your 50 runs. Well done, well done, well done, well done. 50 runs, your 50 runs. The job is only just begun.
And I've got, whilst they're all getting arranged beside me, Ravi Nair says, just for Brooker 2, corporally I'm listing in from Bombay, but spiritually I'm listing in from my home state. Political despair. Dakal Pandey will tell you how much it's even worse in India than in the UK, if you can imagine that. Ameliorated by you lot.
Did I just miss a single there? As we eased ourselves into various chairs?
We probably did, yes.
I think we did. Shai Hope, in fact, it was a boundary, wasn't it? Because Shai Hope's got his 50. 52.
Well, he was on 50, Tony.
Oh, was he?
Yeah.
Oh, I'll take that back.
Off the last ball of the series.
150, so that was 2. And 152 run partnership, 157. What an effort from these two as in wheels Kuldeep. And it's slashed away into the offside by Shai Hope, who has been sedate, David, hasn't he? Achieving that 50?
I have been defending his role in this partnership. Cricket's a game of partnerships.
Quite right. It's given a bit more air. Flicked around the corner. And Rishabh Pant was nearly.
Is that going to make it? Is that going to make it?
And he doesn't quite make it. As it made its way down to long leg. They've run 3. They haven't run 4, have they?
No, they've run 3. They could have run 4, but Hope ran the first one very
given
slowly,
us leg byes as well.
as though it was going to go to the boundary. He didn't show any urgency. Otherwise, I think they could have got 4 there.
Well, I think Hetmeyer is very happy that didn't go. Did try to run 4 there, because I think he's still suffering a little bit in the groin area.
Is it? Oh dear.
Or wherever it was.
I thought he was down with cramp. Did I miss something?
Or the calves.
I'm not so sure it's his groin. If it's cramp, you don't get cramp of the groin, do you? As this one's flicked by Hetmeyer away to leg. He's again as if to emphasise your point, though, Jason. He didn't look comfortable running that, did he?
He made sure he got safely to the far end, and then it slowed down as soon as he had the opportunity to do so.
Well, I mean, there's a lot to be said for momentum, and the West Indies will be desperate for him to try and stay out there, because he's providing that momentum. and the platform that they built, which really should be from here a victory platform. But if they were to suddenly lose him, either out or retired hurt, it just might create a wobble or two, David, wouldn't it?
Well, there's been plenty of history of that.
As in comes Kuldeep, that one really did jag back.
He's not picking him at all,
he's
Shy
not.
Hope. I
No.
mean, he's playing back defensively because that's the best way to play him, but he's got no little chance of scoring with that strategy, and that's just digging a hole that's even deeper and deeper.
He's definitely not as a watchful Carnan Pollard gazes upon the action. That one is driven, beautifully off-driven by Shy Hope. He'll stroll himself a very easy single. He's on 53, 97 for Shimron Hetmeyer, but we are concerned about his current state of fitness.
Well, and also I think the run rate will be a slight concern that they've slightly, since that injury, maybe because of the fitness thing, they've slowed down, and that's going to put the pressure. I just detected a little more nerves on the West Indies bench when we saw them sitting down there.
Well,
They won't want
possibly
to get
because
too
they
far.
can see, the man who's providing the impetus.
Yeah, it's tense. They look tense.
Now, if they'd both been going nicely, then you probably would be marginally less concerned.
I don't think Shy Hope's been going nicely at any stage of his innings.
No,
He's always
he's-
been a very gritty, very
certainly struggled
gutsy,
against Kuldeep, hasn't he?
5.4
5.4 the current run rate.
workmanlike innings with few quality shots.
And just over 6 required. Yes, I agree with you, Jason. You're absolutely right. He's not picked Kuldeep. He's struggled. Ravi Jadeja, with that pointy beard of his, who always looks to me like a bit of a pantomime villain. And forward comes Shy Hope, drops the bat on it. Nothing wrong with Hetmeyer's running there when he needed to.
Oh, no,
Perhaps he's loosening a bit.
Perhaps the drugs do work.
But drugs do work. They just they don't make it worse. 169 for 1. Hetmeyer 97. He's on the cusp of what would be a terrific innings. 158 partnerships from 163 balls. And a little tweak in the field as the offside field's being reinforced.
And they've got
by
a mid-wicket
India.
in.
Yeah, and a
The
mid-wicket
bear will
in
be
as well.
happy.
Yep. In skips. Jadeja pulls this a little bit short and flicked around the corner by Hetmeyer, who's looking to do this in singles, I think, rather than
Yeah, I don't think he'll want to throw
anything
it away.
too big. He's not going to chuck it away, is he?
No, he's not going to throw it away now.
He's
and,
not going to give any chance of it unless it's absolutely up in the slot to be smashed.
Yeah, I think you're right. 98 for him off 82. No wicket yet for Jadeja. None for 38.
Now, I was
just
reading
over
a
7 overs for
website
him.
somewhere called Quickonometrics about how people slow up in the 90s.
Well, the nervous 90s, as Hope lunges forward, and that rather squirtily is a way to cover.
Interestingly, which country is the worst at slowing up in the 90s for their batsmen?
England?
No.
West Indies?
West Indies?
No.
India?
Yes.
Oh, Lord. As this one is another single.
If I remember correctly, I think it was India.
So Hetmeyer is back on strike. He's got 2 balls left of this Jadeja over. He is he's a real fiddler with his gloves, isn't he? Just about between every ball we seem to see him doing and undoing his gloves. So Jadeja is in, flicked around the corner. They might be, I think they'll settle for 1 here, won't they? Yes. Possibly if it had been later in the game and the 100 was already passed.
Well, I
for
think,
him,
I think
he
he's
would have gone
also
for 2 there.
aiming for the next over as well.
Yes, so he's farmed the strike unless Shy Hope does something that would be rather out of character for this innings. Shy Hope has 100, but that's 100 balls faced for his 55, and actually Hope has slapped this away down to deep cover, and he may have nicked the strike back there with a single, has he?
Yes, he has.
Yeah, that devil, but I suppose you've got to take him.
Well, you have, and that's how he's accumulated all his runs, isn't it? It's a long time since the boundary. I haven't been pressed into action on the jingle machine, which is loaded up for exactly that purpose.
Well,
But 3 overs,
you've got
4
a
overs
landmark
without a boundary.
You've got a landmark as well. We're on the cusp of your of a requirement there.
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
Kunal Talani says, I take it you come across the genius that is at Monty Channel. That's the Monty Panastars.
Yeah, he's becoming a omnipotent
And
social
Genro
media presence.
says, I'm listening to you in Moscow, enjoying a bit of snow and scrubbing the out of my flat.
Okay.
I hope you get the out of your flat.
We hope it. Yeah, you don't want in your flat at all.
Nothing worse than having in your flat.
No.
Oh,
absolutely right.
interesting. We're just being shown a side-on view of
no
Jadeja bowling,
And
where he lands his foot with the back part raised, but is it raised completely over the line and
So they
therefore
call
has
that-
no part behind the line?
But he didn't call it.
a belated no ball.
Well, I don't think they can they? Or did they? Oh, they have.
Yeah,
Yes, they have.
they called it back.
They've called it back as a no ball. Kieran Pollard seems to see the funny side of it all.
So it's a free hit.
Well, it would. I suppose
For
he would.
Hetmeyer on 99.
So Hetmeyer on
And they can't
99
change
has
the
a free
field.
hit.
They changed the field.
Yes, because they ran a single, didn't they?
Yeah. So
Why
it's a
don't they bring all the fielders up?
Well, now that can't happen very often. A free hit when you're on 99. Can you imagine how much he'll be? Well, if he's got a dodgy leg, he probably won't kick himself. But if he misses out on this, he would kick
you
himself.
don't
Wouldn't he?
bring the field up to stop the single, which is inevitably going to be pushed, isn't it? He's going to push the single. Why go?
Well,
for the
surely if
long?
it's a free hit, go big. And he slices it,
Wow.
and you can be run out, and he has missed out on it. And he's. Well, now he swings.
But he was in two minds. He wasn't
He
going to
was.
play
No.
a really big one. That was my point.
No, I mean to
You
be
have
honest, you're safer. Sorry, Jay.
You have to say that's good bowling by Jadeja, because he bowled it wide, he bowled it quite full, he bowled it quite fast, therefore to a field of ring-packed offside
they
ring.
had brought all the field up
Well,
on the offside. which
You're
is clever.
right. However, it's a free hit, so you can't be caught. You can't be bowled LBW. You can be run out, right? So surely, the tactic would have been to just try and leather it over the top, do anything, because you're not going to be out. What he actually played was a classical shot straight to cover, which he couldn't run off.
Well,
surely you would have just swung the bat, wouldn't you?
Well, don't call me Shirley.
Stop. Lord. Oh, he's here all week, sadly. 174 for 1. Stop calling me Shirley. Hope 56 off 101. We do hope that he speeds up at some point.
Was that a pun?
Well, a very bad one. And Shimron Hetmeyer still, as we were just debating on 99, I wonder now if he's going to leather this one out the ground. He swings through it. It goes to the long off boundary. There is a man there, but it will surely. He hasn't taken it.
It's Hope.
Oh, Hope.
Yeah.
There we go. Thank you.
Where there's hope, there's life.
Well, there is hope. Where there's hope, there's Hetmeyer now.
So now Hetmeyer on strike. Are they going to bring the field up again? They're bringing
They
it
are.
up. The
Yeah, they
mid-wicket
will.
is coming up to save the single.
Mid-wicket, you're
And they've
right,
got
is
short
up.
fine-legged now.
And they've brought the short extra cover. They've got a backward point, a short
They have.
third
They
man.
pushed point back.
Would you bring up the long off, Tony? If it was you?
I
bring
would.
him up. I would
Oh,
bring him up.
absolutely
I
would.
think so, yeah.
Encourage him to go over
You
the
keep
top.
one of them back, but you can bring the other one up, surely.
Sure, yeah. They're going to off this. There's a one run to be had.
Cool deep. Gives this plenty of air. It's flicked. He jogs. It was pushed to mid-on, and that is 3 figures for Shimron Hetmeyer. Well batted him. And he salutes the crowd.
20, 40, 60, 80, 90, 100. Congratulations, sir. You are a centurion.
As celebrations go, that was pretty restrained, actually.
Yeah, well, I
What
think
happens at the end there? That sounds
the
like
job's not done. That's why.
No, he didn't go mad, did he?
Well, no, indeed. Kuldeep gives this some air. Flicked by presumably Hope this time then. Down to long on. They'll take another easy single. They're just ambling. At least they're taking the singles.
I mean, Hetmeyer has that habit when he gets to the century of, raising the bat by the base of the bat. Have you noticed that's
Yeah.
the current fashion?
Is that?
Well, that's because so you can get the writing on the back of it read easily.
Oh, you're cynical, Jason.
I am cynical,
Yeah.
but
well informed and cynical probably in that instance. But fair enough. He batted beautifully. Gives a salute to
looks
the crowd.
jolly
I mean, there are some idiosyncratic styles. There's the sort of the woodworm look.
This one is dropped slightly short. Hetmeyer carves it away to deep cover, and they will take another one of those ambled singles. Bring Shy Hope back onto strike.
Where someone shows you the blade, but halfway we're grabbing it halfway up the bat, but the right way, right orientation.
Yeah. So we keep seeing close-ups of Phil Simmons. What penny for his thoughts at the moment, David, after this ball? As this one, hurries Shy Hope, who sort of skips back in front of his stumps to one that came back into him. Kuldeep, he's been comparatively expensive, I suppose.
Yeah, Simmons.
But accurate most of the time. He certainly made the batsman think.
I mean, Simmons will be pretty tense, but there's a lot at stake for him on this game.
Yeah, as in comes Kuldeep. Back into the right-hander.
I mean, what I mean is that this would be a huge victory for West Indies if they're able to pull this off. So if I had a penny for Simmons' thoughts, I'd say he was thinking that this is going to be huge if only we can win this.
Yeah.
It's a big if.
It is a big if. It is a big if.
Whilst they're going to a drinks break, I'll get through some tweets. Linux Leo and Ravinea are talking about entrepreneurs and what that means, which is basically entrepreneurial activity within an organisation rather than
David's specialist subject.
Well, indeed. How come Ravi's talking about that?
Is that can't be coincidental, seeing as it's your new area of interest, David?
Wahid Shazad has joined us on Quick Tracker. Ali Sher Khan says good commentary. Sifamandia Mfana says hello.
Hello.
Have faith. Nakib Khan says, how can I see live? Unfortunately, we don't have the rights for that, so you have to find some illegal rights. We don't recommend you. We can't recommend you do that. But if you want to see something live, then that's what you're going to have to do.
Or take out a subscription to Star Gold.
Yep. And Suresh Jivan says, super. Thank you very much.
Super duper. Super duper duper. Yeah, they're timing. I think they're timing this just about right. It's not an easy wicket to score runs on. And
again, they're not exactly rushing through the overs. It's just gone past 3 o'clock in the UK. They've taken 34, 35 overs in just over 2 hours and 15.
Plus, you get a lot of promotional time.
They've had some promotional time. They've had some injuries to deal with on field. So
yeah, I mean the Hetmeyer cramp or groin or whatever it is. I mean that's pretty genuine. I think he's just.
But it seems that both sides are. It's the whatever it is, the humidity, the dew. It's quite enervating, and they're not wanting them to run through at 15 overs an hour, which is what the rate should be roughly.
Jolly splendid array of Christmas snacks on that ad from Iceland. Little bits and pieces to pick at, little vol au vents and.
Are you hungry again? Did you ever get your chicken?
I did eat.
You did get your chicken in the end.
Did you have to microwave it warm again, or put it in the oven? I left
instructions with Knuckle to keep it warm, but I think he failed in that. It was lukewarm.
Well, I think he was more interested in eating his own hot chicken than having yours
ready for you. Anyway, back at the cricket, it's 178 for 1. Shimron Hetmeyer, superb effort, 101 off 86 balls for him. Shy Hope, a rather more solid and sedentary 58, also off just over 100 balls. Hetmeyer certainly smashed and crashed whenever he could.
Yeah, it's a huge innings for Hetmeyer in so many ways. It's huge for the team. It's huge for him personally. He was let go by his IPL franchise. The IPL draft is coming up next week, I believe. So it's huge innings for him as an individual. He's been under pressure for his place. We've had Mashal sitting in this chair for the last 3 weeks, 2 months, saying that he should go from all formats. But the selectors have stuck with him, and he's repaid them today.
Well done him.
They've invested quite a lot in him, and they want to see that investment returned. And this is the first, hopefully, with more instalments of it being returned.
Yep. No, I agree. If you show faith
as
a selector, you certainly 5th century indeed. You definitely want to see the impact of that, don't you?
Well, you do, yeah. And it's these sort of match-winning innings. If it turns out to be, can he build on that now and stay there, or is he going to think his job is done?
So it's the splendidly bearded Jadeja, the villain from a Victorian melodrama, who will be bowling to the left-handed Hetmeyer, who just works him nicely off his thigh, really, just around the corner. They'll take another easy single.
I do wonder whether Hetmeyer has decided to play with himself until Jadeja's out of the attack, and then attack all the rest.
You think so? Possibly. Could be. If he's relying on Hope to open his shoulders,
I think he wants some pace on the ball, and I think, despite the fact that Jadeja's quick through the air, there's not enough pace on the ball for him.
Well, Hope has crashed this straight to Virat Kohli. They're at cover, and Kohli had dived away to his left.
decent bit of fielding that from.
He is, well, not for the first time today. He's when he's required to do something acrobatic, he's never slow to do it, is Virat Kohli. That one, I hope, goes onto the back foot. He's looking to sort of work it between cover and extra cover and just not really getting hold of it, is he?
That did
he's
turn quite
struggling
a lot.
with Jadeja.
I'm just wondering how short of him
It
that
did.
was. Not that short.
Not that short. No, it was a good effort by Jadeja as he flung himself away. His hair bobbing as he bounced off the adjacent wicket.
I mean, this is normally the point in the match where Jadeja, makes a match-winning contribution of some kind.
It is.
He's
It is,
very
and
dangerous.
he is very capable of that. He's standing with his hands on both hips.
But was that the opportunity, the near opportunity? Didn't quite carry, and will he get another chance?
Bowling towards those three magnificent sort of Moorish pavilion stands. And onto the back foot goes Hope, and just pushes it back to Jadeja. Another dot ball for him.
Would you like
just
to see
the single off the over?
Would you like to see more stands, Tony?
I don't know. It's a very interesting looking ground. I think it holds about 50,000, doesn't it? It certainly looks.
I think
architecturally
Knackle
it's
said
interesting.
30-odd thousand, including the disputed empty
Another
stand.
single. Well, yes. Knackle also said it was nowhere near the Bear Bengal, so might be worth going to factchecker.co.uk as this is run down to long leg, and they will take two. So 181 for one.
That was extremely leisurely.
It was very leisurely.
So
Well, the
let's
whole
hope
thing
for
seems
both
leisurely.
the batsmen's sake that they win this match comfortably, because otherwise
The
questions will be asked. I mean,
asked.
the way Michelle Hetmeyer may have an excuse because he's got cramp, but I wonder why Shea Hope, who hasn't got cramp, why he ran first one.
Well,
so
maybe that was
slowly.
what was on the mind of Phil Simmons, who must be
Shea
sort of aware
Hope
of
doesn't
that.
normally run anything particularly quickly.
No.
And that run rate, whilst not overly concerning, is edging upwards,
Yep.
Current run rate is 5.32. The required run rate's nearly up to 7.
Yeah, only 3
It
off that
starts
over.
to go over 7.
Yeah, only 3 off that over, and I
Yeah.
still haven't used the boundary jingles, even though the jingle machine is geared up for that almost that sole purpose, and I haven't had to. That's 6 overs, isn't it, Tony? You've been in that chair.
Oh,
with 5 overs
something
and
like that.
no boundaries.
Well, I've had calypso collapsos and nothing happening. It's not been your day, to be fair, David. Your chicken was cold. You've missed out on Hetmeyer's ton.
Saw it here.
Well, no, you didn't miss out, but you didn't. Well, you weren't commentating.
Oh
it.
no,
But, yeah.
saw
So
Shea, that's
there was something else I was
concern of
thinking
mine.
that hasn't quite gone right.
Well,
but,
no,
I'm not sure what it was.
I'm having a good day, thanks. Until
Well,
you
I'm
said that.
delighted. Oh, and that's
a change of bowler.
Here comes the boundary.
Flicks indeed, there is, and there's a boundary. It's all happening for David now.
It is indeed the
And
opening
there's a-
bowler back.
And there's a change of bowling as well, David.
Oh, right. Who do you reckon this has come on then?
It's the Alan Partridge Deepak
Chahal. Chahal, yeah, not Chahal. Chahal.
Excellent. Nice to see him in the attack.
Deepak Chahar.
Yeah, I mean, he was off the field for a little while.
Flung his hands through that, did Hetmeyer, and got the edge. Oh, and that one was a sort of a tennis ball bouncer. And Hetmeyer was almost swung himself off his feet trying to pull it to square leg, and just ended up dropping it down on the
That
ground.
was an homage to Chemo Paul in the first innings, I do think.
Yeah.
And
I think
Alzari
so.
Joseph with their slow ball, tennis ball bouncers that are coming down by the time they get to the batsman.
Chahar has a yellow towel or flannel hanging out over his bum. Don't know if there's any significance in the different colour of towels. And that one again, he's coming around the wicket and he drops it short. So he's been given a warning for 2 bouncers. But what interested me there, I think, David, was the width, because he's trying to stretch. He's just looking for that line that's not giving Hetmeyer really a chance to pull. And yet, at the same time, he's just flirting with wides without quite giving them away.
This
So
is
he's doing well.
interesting. We keep just be getting the scores up, and the comparative scores are identical with the loss of
183 and
two more wickets.
185. Yeah.
Hetmeyer's not looking long for this world at the moment.
There's this one. Oh, he's lofty. He's pulled this. Has he got enough? Oh, I think it's a drop.
Oh,
isn't it?
what?
I think that was a drop down there.
That is terrible.
It was pretty bad, I'm afraid. And India, they've waited for so long. It was Shai Hope, actually. No, it wasn't. It was
Hetmeyer.
Hetmeyer.
Was that Shreyas Iyer up there?
It was, and he's
and he all he had to do was move in 2 yards, so he didn't have to
He
pick
did.
it up off his toes.
Shahar has a rueful look on his face, as indeed he might.
Drop it like it's hot. Drop it like it's hot. Drop it like it's hot.
Suddenly it's all happening. You've got boundaries, drop catches.
Well, I just said that. I thought Hetmar was going to get
Centuries.
himself. I just said, Tony, that Hetmar was going to get himself out, and the very next ball,
You called it.
He played a shot that was only going to get him out, but it's been spilled, and it was a fairly straightforward
actually
catch.
got him a single, didn't it? Oh, now that's beautifully
Oh.
played by Shy Hope. That one he just waits for. Drops the bat on it, and David there, Trigger Brook, just he guided backward a point, but he did it beautifully.
Well, let's hope that from that Hope can start to increase his scoring rate, because Hetmar has temporarily come to a bit of a halt.
Well, yeah, he looks like he's getting frustrated
He does,
to me,
yeah.
and you couple that with the fact that he's conscious that he's probably carrying a strain of some kind.
He's reached
Plus,
his landmark.
yeah, I think he might be thinking it's time for someone else to see us home.
Yeah,
But so I might as well do it with big hits. Let's see what he does. And yeah, he was dropped on 106 by Shayas off Chahar. That one is just pushed away into the offside.
And it was a
And it's,
fairly
end of the
facile-
over.
Yeah, it was a pretty facile catch. He just had to
come in.
Yeah, come in
Yeah.
and take it low down. It was one of those ones where it's coming at a very catchable height. Really, it wasn't.
No, he just
If he'd have moved a little bit quicker towards it, he would have made it a much easier catch because he wouldn't have had so far to go
No,
down.
he had time to stop and check, and
Yeah.
the fact that he stopped and checked made it much closer to the ground than it would have been otherwise.
No, you're absolutely right, Jason. It was in the context of the game as it stands right now. That could prove expensive.
Absolutely vital that one was taken, wasn't it, to break up the partnership?
Yeah. Gobind Ram 3R has got his heartbroken emoji.
Oh, heartbroken?
Yes.
Oh, because
and Iftikhar Hussain is with us. Imran Khan says, dropped catch.
In comes Jadeja round the wicket and forward comes the batsman just to push it away into the offside. No run. Yeah, they're going to be disappointed with that, India. You wait for such a long time. This partnership has been stubborn and as well as aggressive on occasions. This one's pushed along off by Hetmyer. Get himself another jogged single. What was that, Hope?
Hope.
That was Hope bringing Hetmyer onto strike.
Indeed.
Yes.
I mean, one can be critical about Hope, but you don't see too many partnerships like this for West Indies. It's a very unusual situation.
Well, you've got one guy at one end
Yeah.
scoring at double the rate of the guy at the other.
Well,
almost.
that's fine. That's a good partnership.
As that one is pulled to mid-wicket.
That's a good partnership.
Yeah,
Chase.
that's most of my partnerships of me being the super slow Shy Hope.
Well, no, but
Super slow
it
Hope.
doesn't matter if there's
But if
someone
you win,
like
it doesn't
Shimron
matter.
Hetmyer at the other end. That's the point. If they're both
Oh,
playing like
and that one's dropped short, and Hetmyer's got all of that. It's away into that big empty stand for 6 runs. David went for the all-purpose. There you go. Yep, just dropped short, wasn't it?
Well,
And
he's
Shy Hope,
every
that
time
was
the ball's dropped short, he's absolutely murdered the ball through square
fairly
leg.
mullered that, didn't he? Jadeja skips in again. He's gone for another one. This one's gone higher,
It's
but
gone
I think he's
further.
got and further. Hetmyer's lit the blue touch paper here.
2 6s in a row. 2 6s in a row. 2
Ooh,
6s
David.
in a row.
Very good.
See,
Have you got one for 3 6s in a row?
Yes, we do.
Oh, is he going to go for it?
We have the number of the beast jingle.
Ah, yeah. 204 for 1. 2 consecutive 6s off this Jadeja over, who's been hard to pick by Hope, but Hetmyer's having no problem whatsoever.
That was huge.
That
did
was
he hit
enormous.
Did he hit the top?
He did. I think he's cleared it out of the ground, hasn't he? Virat Kohli has now gone to his angry gremlin face from a fairly chirpy, smiley one earlier on today.
Well, a new ball has been presented to the bowler.
That's the 200.
Well, it is now. I wonder if the new ball is going to have any impact then, or did they manage to find it?
Oh,
It's just
sorry,
definitely
a new old ball.
a new old ball, yeah. But nonetheless, you never know what changes of balls can do. This one comes back in to the
yes, well,
left-handed Hetmyer. But
he was never going to
there's
bowl
no
the
run.
same length again for the third ball, was he? That was
No,
flatter
he
and
wasn't.
fuller and flatter and wider and slightly shorter.
David can relax worrying about where the 3 or 4
Yeah,
consecutive sixes jingles might be.
Well, I can also relax knowing that the West Indies scored 13 off that over. I mean, that you know, suddenly
it's a
I was
big
complaining
over at the right time.
Yeah, I was complaining about lack of boundaries, and now we've seen 3 in quick succession, 4 from Hope, and then 2 sixes from Hetmeyer. And the 200 has come up with only 1 wicket down. This is very untypical West Indies scoreline.
Well, it sounds like...
what price on India now?
You sound like you're just not quite wanting to believe it, David.
Well, what price on
hopeful
it?
but not quite wanting to believe it.
Well, no, the West Indies have a habit of screwing these, of losing from these situations.
Yep.
But to pull off, this will be a huge victory if they can win this today. after.
Oh dear.
And
should we describe that quickly?
We'll try. I actually missed it. I'm ashamed to admit.
That was cut through the gully area, and I don't know who the gully fitter was.
It was a misfield, was it?
But it went almost straight through his legs.
Yes, he was looking to drive.
In fact, he did go straight through his legs.
It did. It nutmegged.
This is ragged.
That's KL Rahul.
It's
KL Rahul.
This is poor. It's village.
This is poor from India. They're looking a little raggedy, I must say. And that dropped catch will not have improved their mood. Neither, of course, will those 2 consecutive sixes by Hetmeyer. As Chahar is in again, full, looking for the Yorker, and Hope is able to drop the bat on it quickly enough.
Did more than drop the bat on it. He didn't quite manage to get enough of it to get past Virat Kohli, but Virat Kohli is absolutely pouncing on anything within his sphere of influence.
He's ticking a little bit, I think, is Virat. So exactly 6 and over the required run rate now. Which is pretty much just south of that at the moment. They're going at 5.6 and they need exactly 6. So so far so good, very much so for the West Indies. As this one is, well, I think Shai Hope was looking to cover drive that and actually seemed to get another edge down to third man. So they'll take a single.
You say that, Jace, that Hetmeyer's scoring twice as fast as Hope. I don't think you were saying that as a criticism of Hope, were you? Because the point is, that is a partnership. Hope can afford to go at the rate he's going because Hetmeyer's going at twice the rate. And between them, that's a great partnership.
Well, 81 needed from 81 balls, which of course is 6 and over effectively, isn't it? There's just another way of saying the same thing. 6 of one and half a dozen of the other. 207 for 1. As we said, that 81 runs needed, 81 balls, 9 wickets in hand. In comes Chahar again. He's looking to spear in that Yorker to Hetmeyer. Has got the measure of him on that and has a good look at the bottom of his bat.
Good look at that where he put his foot there. That was very wide of the crease that he bowled it, didn't it?
Yeah, but he's coming around the wicket to a left-hander, and well, you're right. He came from wide and speared it in, but Hetmeyer was the equal of it. Sorry, Jason, you were going to say something there.
I was going to say, wasn't I right in thinking where your front foot doesn't matter in relation to the line, as long as it's behind it, it's your back foot that has to be in the box.
Full, slightly floaty, on driven. I think that is going to go all the way, or it's not. And
Shreyas
this time
running across like a guided missile to intercept.
Well, he did. Well, it was him that dropped the catch, wasn't it? Am I right? Yeah. So he probably feels he owes his team a bit of decent fielding, which he did quite well there. Sliding stop.
Well, people might unfairly and unfairly blame him for this loss at this rate, in the fact that he got to 70 and then didn't go on, as well as dropping the catch.
Which, of course, Hetmeyer most definitely has done. As Chahar, again, he's quite wide of the crease, coming around the wicket, and it's pulled by Hetmeyer to deep backward square. They will take a single, bring Hope back onto strike. No, Hetmeyer will keep the strikes to the end of the over. So 1 for 32.
If there is one perhaps criticism of the Indian innings, it's that people did get in but didn't go on to a big score. You had 2 guys who got 70 and 60 odd.
Well, no, I think the West Indies bowling was very disciplined. It was accurate. They used a wicket that I don't think is the quickest necessarily, and they mixed it up. But above all, they most of the time made the batsman work, and that's what you got to do.
And I think we were talking before about the influence of the captain just seemed to be quite.
Oh yeah, he didn't let anything slip.
No, and he's on to his bowlers the whole time, and perhaps Mashal mentioned before that Chris Gale criticised Jason Holder publicly for not showing more displeasure when people make mistakes and bowl badly, whereas Pollard doesn't hold back on that. And surely it forces people to raise their game. You know, he does seem like a stronger presence in the field. So he's made a big difference.
He's
and
quite laid back, isn't he? I think Holder, or he comes across as quite a sort of laid back individual.
Yeah, this will be a huge victory if they get there for Pollard and for Simmons for the new regime. Enormous to be able to go to the backyard.
78 from 78 is now the target. So they're still going at that, keeping
and
it
new
to
bowler,
that 6
yet
and
another
over.
new bowler.
It is. It's Doobie. What can Doobie do?
Would you like to hear a Doobie?
You're a shilling Doobie, treat the bowlers roughly. He's got the skills you need and he's right buff, really. He's hitting sixes, not making duck eggs. So take this guy on if you feel like getting clubbed.
Well, the first ball was just steered to cover all the way along the ground, so there was no run. 199 this partnership from 200 balls.
That should be in the ground, shouldn't it?
Yeah. As that one's driven again. There will be a man down there. Indeed there is. It's Mohammed Shami who's down there at long off.
The bowling attack has been survived and sometimes even plundered. The partnership has persisted.
Partnership jingle, Tony.
David, you're going through your panoply of a smorgasbord of jingle opportunities.
The smorgasbord, like what we saw in the Iceland ad before.
Yeah. 211 for 1. Are you looking forward to your Christmas lunch then now?
200,
is that what it is?
Yeah, 200 partnership. No, I'd be disappointed if it was a smorgasbord for Christmas lunch.
Well, indeed not. Indeed so. Hope 69, Hetmeyer 123, Dubé or Doob or Doobie none for 30 from 4. So he's been a little bit costly.
No, I think that snack selection that we saw before would be more cocktail party-ish, Christmas cocktail party.
You should have got to that chicken sooner,
dinner.
because there's clearly food is right on your mind, and that one's worked off his legs by Shy Hope just in front of the square leg umpire. They'll take an easy single. And Hetmeyer, well, maybe Hetmeyer's sort of run off whatever was vexing him earlier, because he seems to be. It's almost like he thought after 100 I'm going to give this a real go, and now it seems like he's going, well, okay, I think I'm okay. I'm just going to get back into the groove again.
The pill and the electrolytes have had an effect.
Yeah, could be.
You know, also, can we also attribute this maybe to the leadership that maybe the batsman, it's been drilled into the batsman not to get themselves out in this situation, and we're seeing batsmen putting a higher price on their wicket. I heard Pollard using those words in an interview.
Right. And it's interesting in the context actually of the sort of world cricket.
Oh God! Is he bringing out his slogging bat now?
Well, no. I think he played a shot earlier where he had to jab down on a Yorker.
And he's just
from Chahar and
jarred it slightly.
He then spent a lot of time looking at the toe of his bat. And
what
I think
point were you going to make, Tony, about world cricket?
Well, because I think England are doing much the same thing.
Yeah.
You know, certainly this, of course, is a sort of different. This is one day, whereas England have done it in Test cricket. But putting a higher price on your wicket and avoiding collapses. That's not the first time we've heard that. Oh, this is pulled by bang, crash, wallop. What a shot as he carves his way through this over extra cover over deep mid wicket for 6 runs.
Let's talk about 6. Let's talk about 6. Let's talk about 6. Let's talk about 6.
Oh, he's seen that slower off-cutter ball very early, and he absolutely tattooed that.
And it's fielded up there.
That's a good way to introduce your new bat to the game,
isn't it? Well, the new bat seems to have done the job then.
Can I have his old one?
Yeah. Well, he's not happy with the toe, David, but it might do for you. You never know. In comes Doob, and this one is driven magnificently through extra cover by Hetmeyer. What a shot! He's really got the taste now.
I told you he's got his sloggy bat out.
Well, he has 222.
If that's a slog, Jason, if that's what you call a slog, you're obviously.
That was sumptuous.
Classical.
That was a
sumptuous. It's a lovely shot. I'm just talking about the bat being probably his best bat.
Well,
so how many? Okay, so this is interesting. Has this bat only faced 2 balls, both of which have gone for boundaries?
I doubt that very much.
Doob is in. Well, I know in this innings, I mean, and that one's just worked away. I don't mean generally in life, Jason. But you never know. I mean, maybe he's never used it before. Who knows? That's the end of the over. I think did they take a single, David?
Yes, they did.
I was looking at Jason to see sort of mid-discussion about how many balls the bat may have faced in its entire life.
I'm just back at you, Jason, with that. I mean, that second 4, okay, it may be the best bat, the last 10 overs bat in his hand, but it was... Sumptuous was Tony's word for it. It was a lovely shot.
It was a glorious free-flowing cover drive off a local toss.
Yeah, there you go. I think we've all agreed we like it. I think it is. So if he does have a last 10 overs bat, I mean, I genuinely think he had a problem with the previous bat, and he was making that quite clear. Would it be heavier? What would be the reason that he feels that this is the bat for the big hitting? It would have to be weight, wouldn't it? Otherwise, why not use it in the first place?
I would expect it to be slightly lighter generally because it's longer. Later on in your innings, you expended more effort. Therefore, you'd want a lighter bat for it to have better bat speed at the point of hitting.
Call for the mongoose.
Well, I've got to be honest. I think we're overthinking this. I think he had a problem with the previous bat because he created the problem when he jabbed down on that Yorker, and he just needed a replacement. I don't think he was thinking, right, I now need my last 10 over special. I think it was just forced upon him by circumstance.
Fair enough. Elixir Azazel says he gives us a very melodic piece of doggerel.
Hold that thought just for this ball by Mohammed Shami. It's coming around the wicket, driven again by Hetmeyer, and again through extra cover, and again for runs.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Looking like he wants to get this done and dusted.
Yeah. He says, is he injured? Or is he just slow across the ground? His sign is vital, his hands are cold, and he's on his knees looking for the answer. Apropos of nothing itself.
Well, no, are we talking about Hetmeyer? Because Hetmeyer's stroke making, and I use the word.
I don't know who the person
absolutely right, Tony. This is stroke making of the highest quality.
It is indeed. It's not slogging, although there's been a bit of slogging, but. And this one again, Hetmeyer's. This one doesn't quite get hold of as much with the super.
He must have done the damage on the bottom of that bat as well. He might be needing another one soon.
That just rolls its way to long on, but he will get himself a single.
No, a huge innings from Hetmeyer. If I had my stats handy, I would know whether.
Well, 7 sixes and 11 fours.
Yeah, is he reaching his highest ODI?
I think he must be, surely.
That I can tell you.
Yeah, we're going to look in the books for that. But it's huge.
Right now,
given the pressure on him, the West Indian press is pretty merciless when someone has a run of low scores, and people were calling for his head. He shouldn't be in the team. He should be dropped from 1, 2, or 3 of the formats. But what a response! 139 not out.
Yep. In comes Shami again over the wicket to Shy Hope, and Shy Hope steers this down to third man.
And Shy Hope has very quietly and very unobtrusively upped his rate very slightly, because he's now down to up to about 60 runs.
This one.
He's now on.
Oh, that's the previous drop, isn't it? Yeah.
So he's now scored 70 off about 120 balls.
Well, I was just going to look for Hetmeyer's largest ODI total, 127.
Yep, so he's past that. And
so he's past that already.
What a time to get it. It's all very well to get a century against Ireland, but this is a different proposition. In Chennai, in India's backyard, first of the ODI series, coming after such a disappointing World Cup when West Indies only posted 2 victories.
127 was actually against the UAE in the World Cup qualifier.
Yeah, well, here you go.
So this is a different kettle of runs.
Exactly.
Shami in. Oh, that
could
pulled
be
top. Has he got enough of it this time? It is taken very comfortably indeed down at deep mid-wicket. Hetmeyer finally, having surpassed his best ODI score, has succumbed, and India finally have that breakthrough.
Well, generous applause from the Indian fans. Good to see they're on their feet. This is one of those innings that you'll be lucky enough to have seen it. Certainly worth going to Chennai, and even worth going to Sydenham on a Sunday afternoon to watch an innings like that. 139 of 106
magnificent
balls.
Effort.
Raise the base of your bat. Shimron Hetmeyer. He gets a little hug from the incoming batsman who looks suspiciously like Nicholas Puran.
I think it will be.
He's very much in the same. He's very much in the same mould actually as Hetmeyer.
Iyer it was, by the way, who took that catch down at.
Yep, that only cost him 33 runs.
Yeah, well, Well, just a glimmer, maybe. Just a glimmer for India, do you think? Now, the West Indies need to show a bit of character and see this through.
Yeah, I think Hetman was disappointed that he didn't see it through to the end. And I think, actually, if we're being ultra-critical, probably Kieran Pollard would have preferred him to see it through to the end as well and not give any chance of any other result.
It would be tough to give the guy a dressing down at 139.
It would. You're being very defensive of him.
Well,
139.
EOI and Morgan, I'm sure, would do it.
Well, no, it was entertaining.
Has Morgan? How many times has Morgan scored more than 139?
No, we're talking about that's the captain giving someone a dressing down for something.
Oh, I see.
Yeah. As indeed, he did with David Milan, did he not? Even after Milan's big ton, didn't like him not running.
It's very strange to mention that on international television. The guy's just scored a century.
Yeah. Anyway, Nicholas Puran, as you rightly said,
would you like a jingle?
Is the new one? Yes, we'd love one.
If we could keep a batsman or your kind of thing,
And his first ball is he drops a bat on. They might have they did take a single.
Would you like the rest of the jingle, Tony?
I think we would. Yeah, we'd love it.
Oh, I think sorry, Mog, to cut off that one in your heavy metal prime there. I haven't got a wall close enough to bang my head against for that jingle.
We're having another look at.
I think the issue with
dismissal
that wicket
he
is
took very well.
He just tried to fetch it just a little bit too far.
Yeah.
It was just too much to the offside.
Well, they have tried that quite repeatedly to him, just by wide, and that one, Shy Hope is just looking to steer away to cover, but he gets a little bit edgily down to third man, gets himself a single, 230 for 2.
Is this where one of us in a Yorkshire accent says, 1 buys 2?
Well, I was thinking it. I'm not sure I was going to say it in a Yorkshire accent, but it's often how cricket cliches
what we need
do get trotted out in a
our
Yorkshire
resident
accent.
Yorkshire man in here.
Well, he's not here because he couldn't find somewhere to stay, apparently.
No, the other resident Yorkshire man.
Who am I thinking of? Oh, Knackle. Yeah.
What, he couldn't...
Don't encourage him, he'll be in like a shot.
I wonder whether Guerrilla Towers could not have thrown open their hospital.
Well, I think no.
The issue
Guerrilla
was
Towers
keys.
would have done. The issue was either keys or too late information on his non-availability. Anyway, 230 for 2. 39 overs complete. We can tell you that the target is
and
to
change of bowling.
And there is a change of bowling. It's going to be Kuldeep back into the attack.
Delighted to see
West
that.
Indies need 58 off 11 overs. So they've obviously 58 off 66 balls now, as this is worked away around the corner by Shy Hope. Gets himself a single. Or was that
No,
Puran?
they didn't run. Don't think they ran.
Didn't run. Oh, they didn't run.
It was a bit casual.
That was a bit too close for comfort if he got hold of that and fizzed it back in.
Well, now the runs are needed sort of well within the number of balls to get them in, and that one he does again turn around the corner. I think they went back again that time, didn't they?
Yep, they didn't run
It's
again.
Puran, so it must be Puran who keeps sending him back.
They're going to have a little chat about this.
Well, I think they are. Yeah.
He's going, I'm sorry, mate. That's 2 runs I've done you out of.
And Hope doesn't look too impressed.
Well, and I think he's got a point as to because twice in succession.
He really didn't like that Hope. He thought there was a run
Because they've
there.
got the
Well, if
wrong
Puran
leg
says
set
yes,
back. Well, in comes Kuldeep. Ooh, and that one goes fizzes past. He's actually shouting for the catch behind, and they're going to have a look. They are going to have a look.
Well, it's a multi-purpose one because he took the stumps, the bails off as well. But I don't think that's
Gaddy detergent decision pending sign is flashing. Rod
now,
Tucker
if
is
he
called
does
into
lose,
action.
if we do lose a wicket here, that could all be Nicholas Puran's fault for not forcing a
yeah,
single. on him.
Absolutely.
But can I give my view of that shout for caught behind?
Please do.
In verse. Oh, damn, I can't get it to work. Oh, never mind. I've missed my opportunity there. It's all about timing life. And
I can tell you it definitely wasn't a stumping.
You cannot be serious!
Well, I go along with that, to be honest. I'm not sure it's verse, but it's still... I don't go along. Oh, what a surprise, not out. In comes Kuldeep. Flicked in front of the wicket this time. And again, no run.
yeah, this is where I am going to be a little bit critical of Shy Hope here. To play out, if it's 3 dot balls, and surely he should be able to just put it wider of the fielder.
Well, if he wants to continue...
Well, at
just
least
to
2
be-
of those, I would have said, have been Pooran's call rather than Shai Hope's call.
Really rolls his fingers across that, and Hope again. It's given us a wide, and not surprisingly, Hope had a flick at it, but no real chance of making any contact. 57 from 62, the target. Kuldeep, plenty of air. Down the track comes Hope, steers this really to long off, and they just amble another single. Pooran can give it a long handle, can't he, though,
Oh,
David?
very much so, yeah. And like Hetmar, he's got these fantastic shots off the back foot where he can score sixes and fours off the back foot in that real Caribbean style. You know, so he's not dissimilar to Hetmar in terms of the range of shots off the back foot. And yeah, he's again a very exciting player, and perhaps one of the players who's come on most of all the West Indies players in the last 12 months.
So, I mean, so Hope continuing in the vein he's going, in the hope that Pooran takes up the slack, as it were, from Hetmyer is the likely tactic.
Exactly right. I would forecast that we won't see Roston Chase until Shai Hope is out.
This one swept by Pooran, but the man on the 45 does his work. There's no run. Oh Lord help everybody. And what an actor I have to follow. I'm already feeling totally inadequate at that.
And that's
thought.
me done for the game. So thanks
Jason,
very much, and I'll see you guys in the new year.
Indeed, Jason, you've called it correctly as always. And I should have had the jingle together for talking about Patreon, but I'll just while Knuckle gets ready to speak, I'll keep talking just for a second because I didn't have the jingle ready. But don't forget, you can donate. We're keeping our coverage free so that everyone can enjoy it all over the world. But some people, we'd like you to make an investment because there are some patreon.com Guerrilla Cricket. Thank you.
Into the last 10 overs, 56 needed off 60 with 8 wickets in hand. Any team in the world would be disappointed to lose it from here, but Kuldeep Yadav has 1 over left. Mohammad Shami has 3 overs left. Deepak Chahar has 2 overs left. The West Indies have some work to do still. Nicholas Pooran new to the crease, and Shai Hope going nowhere. Shami in back of a length, and Hope again going nowhere. Pushes it to Kedar Jadhav, who's in quite close at point. There is no run. The wicket of Shimron Hetmyer came with just enough time for India to pull this back, but only just.
You ain't going nowhere, Bob Dylan.
We're on the road to nowhere, David Byrne. There are no
Nowhere Man, John Lennon.
Okay, there we go. There's a trio. This microphone sounds rather odd to me.
You sound fine, Tony.
Okay,
it's your headphones, I think.
It's the headphones.
Pooran's only faced 1 ball, and Shai Hope just needs to start ticking the singles over a little bit. West Indies can't afford to take this too deep. I mean, India will have to go with their strike bowlers in the first sort of part of this this final phase of the game. We've got only 1 man up on the leg side who's at mid-wicket. The men back are at deep point, long leg, deep square leg, and long on. They're allowed 5 outside the circle. They've only got 4. India going slightly on the attack. Long break as Shami comes in from the V Patibiraman end. That's back of a length, and again Shai Hope can only find Kedar Jadhav at backward point. There is no run. Good tight stuff from Mohammad Shami. Applause from the Chepauk crowd.
As you would expect. Oh, and a very knowledgeable and appreciative crowd. They famously are here, aren't they?
Yeah, it's one of those grounds that people... Oh, it's a knowledgeable crowd at Chepauk. I can't remember. Which ground is it in England that has that reputation? I think it's Trent Bridge, which has the reputation of being, a knowledgeable crowd.
Well, conversely, which stadium would you say this crowd is, thick as pig shit?
Well, I think
they want to play.
I think they're less partisan. Like Edgbaston is famously a very partisan crowd towards England.
Ah, true, partisan, yes. But there's nothing wrong with a bit of partisanship.
What's the stand at Edgbaston?
The Hollies.
Hollies stand.
The Hollies stand. Well, and the White Rose stand at Headingley. It's taking an age between deliveries here, which does tend to happen when the game gets tight. Can't quite tell who's taking time out of the game here, India or West Indies. I think someone else has gone into the leg side field. No, it was just mid-wicket. I think it's Kohli having a long chat with his bowler.
Yeah, I don't think you can blame this one on West Indies. This is India taking their time to bowl the next ball.
We're also looking to ratchet up a bit of pressure.
In fact, Kohli is at mid-off. No change to the field. In comes Shami, right arm over the wicket to Shai Hope. That's a poor ball down the leg side. Well stopped by Rishabh Pant diving to his left. Surely that was a wide. Apparently not. It passed over Shai Hope's head. There is no run.
Well, he did duck underneath it, and it was pretty straight.
I thought it was further down leg side than that, but apparently not. Good stuff from Mohammad Shami. 3 dot balls. There's only been 2 runs off the last 9 balls. Surely even the West Indies can't screw this up from here.
You think that?
I was advocating a little saver wager before on India at 4-1.
In comes Mohammad Shami, 4th ball of the over to Shea Hope. Short ball pulled by Shea Hope, not really timed. It's gone straight past mid-wicket. It's gone into the gap between mid-wicket and long on. The man out in the mid-wicket fence had no chance of getting around to that. 4 runs for Shea Hope, crucial boundary. Can see what Shami was trying to do. He was trying to dig it in a little bit and get Hope pulling and mistiming, but Hope timed it pretty well, played it well in front of square, and there is a big gap on the leg side for him to find, and he found it. A little bit of pressure off the West Indies now.
Sushil Bordal says easy win for West Indies.
Should be from here.
Ashu Jadhav though asks the question, whose win?
Outside off stump, flashed by Shea Hope over the offside field. There is a man out on the point boundary or the cover boundary, so they come through for a single. Nicholas Pooran finally about to face his 2nd ball.
Well, signal of intent from Hope. That's the first big shot that he's played in 131 balls.
It is. Yes,
pretty much, yeah. It's a very odd innings. It's not the sort of innings you associate with modern one-day cricket, is it? Simran Hetmeyer, by contrast, an absolute masterclass, a stunning innings which got not quite from all 4 sides of the ground, because one of the sides of the ground is completely empty, but the 3 sides of the ground that are populated all stood to applaud what they know is an absolutely monumental innings. I think thoroughly entertaining.
Absolutely, but it was a partnership.
It was. As in comes Mohammad Shami, last ball of his 8th over, right arm over the wicket to the left-handed Nicholas Pooran. Good slower ball. I don't think Pooran read that, and he just nudges it around the corner. But 6 runs off the over. West Indies need 50 off the last 9 overs with 8 wickets in hand.
Takes 2 to get a partnership, Knuckle, and you have to say that in the context of the game with Hetmeyer going as well as he was, then you can't be too critical of Shea Hope, because he had Hetmeyer at the other end, and it's the partnership that's got West Indies to this position.
Indeed. And 5.5 now the target.
Possibly, even more credit to Shimron Hetmeyer for not getting weighed down by the weight of expectations of having to score so quickly, because Hope was so struggling for fluency at the other end.
Well, I'll stick by my point.
I cannot praise that innings from Hetmeyer highly enough.
And I'm going to praise Hope's innings. Vishnu Pantal says, for some reason, Sammy, I'm not quite sure why. Azaz says 100, I think that was a reference to Hetmeyer's 100. And Suresh Jivan says, super. And Al-Shir Khan. Hello, Al-Shir Khan, just saying hello, a good comedy for some reason. And Samad says Thatipa. And can you have a translation of that?
Don't know what that means.
Could be a typo.
A little bit of turn from Kuldeep Yadav, starting his last over from the under pavilion end. Pooran tries to drive, finds backward point. There is no run.
Our friends on Quick Tracker, we're very happy with the one-word messages.
Yes, indeed. Short and sweet.
That's all they need to be.
Kuldeep Yadav has been very good. 9.1 overs, none for 43 on his comeback to the Indian one-day international side. There's Kohli. There's Kohli feeling it slip, I think. Kuldeep tosses this up, and that's turned a mile. That turned so sharply. Rishabh Pant did well to get some gloves on that and sort of parry it out into the offside. Pooran beaten all ends up by a beautiful bit of bowling from Kuldeep Yadav. Lovely flight and dip on that.
Am I dreaming, or has Kuldeep Yadav just put on a little bit of weight in the last year or so?
He's always had slightly chubby cheeks.
Maybe he has.
As Kuldeep is into Nicholas Pooran, who has no idea what's going on with that. That's turned from middle and off stump to miles outside off stump and bounced. Pooran shaping outside leg stump, then pokes hopefully with his hands, and Rishabh Pant takes. There is no run. This is delicious from Kuldeep. India wish they had 3 of him.
Yeah, well, he's only got 3 balls left.
He does, yes. If he can just get a wicket here and see out his spell. He's in to Nicholas Pooran, who tries to sweep. It is a full toss, but it'll only be a single. Pooran was into the sweep so early they didn't have a chance to adjust her. They take the single down to deep square leg, or long leg really. Shea Hope back on strike.
Yeah, now that they've got a new man at the crease, India's best chance is taking wickets, isn't it?
Certainly is. They went on the attack immediately. Shami came back into the attack once they got the wicket, and then Kuldeep came back from the other end. Last throw of the dice. Dubey and Kedar Jadhav have really let India down. The combined 5th bowler. They've just not been able to trust Colley's just not been able to trust either of them. Kuldeep in beats Hope with another googly. He's beaten Hope with 3 or 4 of those in this second spell of his. An absolute ripper from Kuldeep Yadav. Hope didn't have a clue. Beaten on the outside edge. That's turned from leg stump to outside off stump. Well, middle and leg stump at least. Delicious stuff from Kuldeep Yadav. He's so good to watch when he's on form. Cannot believe he's not got a wicket in this over.
Got a very appreciative round of applause from his
last ball of Kuldeep's spell. Turns down the leg side. That's a really good take from Rishabh Pant down the leg side. It won't quite be the last ball because it will be a wide. It was a wide indeed. Pant tried to appeal. Put the umpire off from giving the decision, but the umpire was not put off. This will be the last ball of the spell. Huge OBW appeal. That looks very, very close. Kuldeep is calling for the review immediately. Hope genuinely beaten in the flight by that one. It turned, beat the inside edge. This looks very, very close. It's hit him on middle and off stump. Was it turning too much?
We have a review thing somewhere, don't we? But I can't find it.
It's in the folder called reviews.
Ah. Not in plays. I was looking in the wrong place. Yes, here it is.
So it hit him on middle. Oh, that's close. Oh, that's close. Kuldeep called for the review immediately, barely turned to look at Kohli, but Kohli is the only one authorised to call those reviews, and he did eventually call it. There's no inside edge. Hope is beaten comfortably by that one that turned from outside off stump. It's hit him in front and middle and off. He's well forward. I think this is pretty good.
Yeah. It's certainly close to that inside edge, but as you rightly say, it doesn't register anything on...
Here we go. Rock and roll Tucker. They're going to make the decision. It's hit him in line. It's turning too much. Great decision by Sean George. Standing at the under pavilion end. It is turning too much. Sean George makes the signal to say that his decision is correct. Absolutely worth the review, and Kuldeep Yadav is incredibly unlucky there to finish his spell without a wicket. None for 45 off his 10. Had Shea Hope in all sorts, but Hope has somehow survived.
He has indeed. And Leah, good to have you with us still. You say Kuldeep has always had what we call baby speck in German. What do you call baby speck in German?
I mean, speck is a type of ham, as far as I'm aware. I don't think that's a German thing.
Is that like sort of baby face?
Yeah. He does have a little bit of that. Doesn't look like
puppy
someone.
fat. Maybe it's the equivalent of puppy fat.
Yeah, he doesn't look like someone in his sort of early to mid 20s, does he? India don't have a review remaining, but frankly, I think most teams would have gone up for that in that circumstance.
Yeah, it was just as you rightly said. It was the amount it turned.
Hi, Vishnu Patil. Hi.
Hello.
And Samikan. Hi. And Suresh Jivan. Another super to you.
Hi. We do have a change at the Vipatiburaman, and Shami out of the attack. Shami and Chahar have only got 2 overs left each, so Shivam Dubey is going to have to do some more work on ODI debut.
Pressure's on him.
Going to do it in a minute.
In comes Dubey, right arm over the wicket to the left-hander Nicholas Pooran, who drives at this outside off stump. The pressure is starting to tell on the West Indies. The stroke play is not looking fluent. There is no run.
Here's our man.
You Shivam Dubey, treat the bowlers roughly. He's got the skills you need, and he's right buff, really. He's hitting sixes, not making duck eggs. So take this guy on if you feel like getting clubbed.
I guess if you're not used to winning, the pressure does mount as a team as you get closer to the target.
It does indeed. It's just really the calming influence of Kyron Pollard in the dressing room, a serial winner, certainly at T20 level with the Mumbai Indians.
Maybe out in the middle, they could do with him now.
Certainly indeed. Short ball, Pooran pulls over the head of the square leg umpire. The man at deep square leg, who is Kedar Jadhav, comes round to field. It'll only be 2.
That'll calm
In fact,
down.
it's only a single. It hit it straight to him.
Yeah, at least that'll calm Pooran down a bit. He made good contact with that. It's the first time he's made good contact.
I think if you're nervous, sometimes the best place to play can be from the other end. 47 off 46 now, slightly over a runner ball. Still should not be a losable position, really, for the West Indies, if they have any pretensions to be a decent one-day international team.
Well, they must have pretensions to be a decent ODI team to get to this stage.
Well, yeah, definitely. But that wicket, Hetmeyer was just going so well. It's definitely put a little
short fine leg, backward point, cover and mid off up. So there's a bit of a gap in the offside, and Hope finds that gap, but it's only a single.
A Spaniard in the works, to quote John Lennon.
When did he? What was the context of that remark, Tony?
I can't remember. I'd have to look. I will look for you, see, because I've said it.
Wish I'd said that. You will. You will.
The entire leg side field is back. 3 men back on the leg side, and in fact 2 men in the deep point region, I think, as Shivam Dubey is in well wide of off stump with that tightly packed offside ring. It's just a 1 man. It's KL Rahul out there at deep point. They come through for a single. Shivam Dubey finally bowling to his field.
Well, yeah, having said that, Knackle, won't poor Ram be thinking he missed out slightly there, because it was short and wide. And
possibly could have put it in front of square.
Yeah, could have put it front or behind.
It's actually a book, David.
Ah.
Spaniard in the Works was a book by John Lennon,
Ooh.
published in 1965.
How marvellous.
Consisting of nonsensical stories.
How wonderful. The yin to Paul McCartney's yang.
Oh, very much so.
As Dubey is in a full delivery, a little bit of swing, I think. Shea Hope digs this out as it's very full up to Ravindra Jadeja in the long on position. They come through for a single. This has been by a distance Dubey's best over.
And never better illustrated in the line, it's getting better all the time. Couldn't get much worse.
Yeah, John Lennon got very frustrated with what he called Paul McCartney's grandma music. They're like sort of obla di, obla da.
Yeah, tireless bonhomie can be.
But then John Lennon produces the most happy clappy Christmas song of all time. Last ball of Shivam Dubey's 6th over, the 43rd of the innings. Can he get out of this over? Well, he can indeed. It's driven not particularly powerfully or with any great timing by Nicholas Pooran off the inside part of the bat. Hits the stumps at the non-striker's end. Dubey didn't get a hand on it. Decent over from Shivam Dubey. He only went for 4 runs off it, and the West Indies need 44 of the last 6 overs. 7 overs.
Are you referring to Happy Christmas War
Happy
is
Christmas
over?
War is over.
Happy Happy
Perhaps
Christmas
so.
War is over.
I think that's a rather harsh description.
I like the song. It's certainly idealistic.
Happy Clappy.
Yeah. But
War is over?
Yeah, it's a very idealistic vision of the world. Yeah. It's considerably less annoying, I will say, than Wonderful Christmas Time by Paul McCartney.
Or the frog song.
Which I have not heard.
Frog chorus.
Which I have not heard, thankfully.
Yeah, that was Macca ploughing new depths, but God bless him, he's still there, still going. And we wish him all the best.
It is a change at the other end. Kuldeep's bowled out 10 overs, none for 45. Could have had 2 or 3 wickets, really. He bowled very well. And from the Unna Pavilion end, it's India's opening bowler.
Deepak Chahar, Fleming loves the sky. Deepak Chahar, he bowled a few sky high. Did they come down? He somehow bowled his way to success.
Leah, thanks for explaining that baby spec remark before, which has translated it for us.
And was it sort of puppy fat kind of?
Absolutely right, baby fat.
A little bit of cut into the right-handed Shea Hope from Deepak Chahar, and it's nudged into the onside. The long on-fielder is so far back that Kohli had time to come around from mid-off to field. They come through for a single.
Yeah, Speck is German for bacon, and baby Speck is baby fat.
Oh, Speck is a type of ham, okay.
Brandon has been in touch. I think he speaks for many West Indies fans. Geez, Hetmeyer finally made some runs. And what runs he made?
He's made 5 one-day international hundreds.
And Messi Jez supports your research, Tony. Spaniard in the Works was indeed the title of John Lennon's book.
There we go.
Let's put a Spaniard in the Works. I love that.
Well, 1965, so he probably can reuse it now. The whole generation would have no clue it ever existed.
How many holes does it take to fill the Albert Hall? Is that one of his lines?
How many holes in Blackburn, Lancashire?
Blackburn, Lancashire, is it?
You're getting you get the same song, though, I think.
Oh, no. I think, yeah. Now we know how many holes it takes to fill the Albert Hall.
Yeah.
Thank you.
A little bit later in the song.
Lennon or McCartney?
Lennon, I think. Wide on the crease is Deepak Chahar, and I think Pooran's missed that on the inside edge, and it thumps off his thigh pad and rolls into the offside. No signal from umpire Sean George. A little bit of inside edge. Pooran's not looked fluent at all. Unusual for him, such a clean ball striker. And he picks up that single, moves to 5. Shea Hope on 81. India in the Indian crowd sensing that there's a game in the offing when perhaps the game should have been dead by this point.
Yeah, certainly nothing against Hetmeyer, who was quite magnificent, but you sense he probably went 2 or 3 overs too early, watching what's ensued since his departure.
In comes Deepak Chahar, bowling from sort of mid-crease over the wicket. Shai Hope pushes to cover. There is no run. We've, I think the biggest choke I've ever seen was a game that we commentated on, which was Nottinghamshire's choke in the semi-final of T20 Finals Day this year. I think this would be even worse than that.
Was that back in the days of county cricket?
The last ever, the last of the preeminent years of the T20 Blast and
Well,
Finals
the run
Day.
rate's gone up to 6.5 and over again.
42 needed off 39.
And they did have it, yeah. So all of a sudden, the runs needed have overtaken the balls available.
Deepak Chahar, short a slower ball, and Shai Hope is about a week early on that and just paddles it into the offside. Surely they've got to get 2 there. It rolled to the edge of the circle. There's 3 men back on the leg side. No, just 1.
Against that, on a wicket that's taking some turn, is a little bit on the slow side. India are bowling quite magnificently.
Certainly in the last few overs, they didn't really know what to do with Hetmeyer at certain points, though. 11 fours and 7 huge sixes, including one that went out of the ground off Ravindra Jadeja, nearly left the state.
I think that's the one we're just looking at now.
It bounced off the roof into the swimming pool.
The required rate is 6.5 and over, so if they get to 2 overs needing 13, well, they'll be happy with that.
Yeah,
I think you'd take that as a batting side.
I think you would if you've still got 8 wickets in hand. If for some reason...
Chahar around the wicket, bowling from wide of the crease into Purin's arc, but he's hit it straight along the ground to Ravindra Jadeja at deep mid-wicket. You're only getting a single to Jadeja's arm, particularly when you hit it that well. Chahar's bowled his slow balls into the pitch pretty well. It's a steady diet of singles for the West Indies.
It is, but that will do. If they can keep getting those, then they'll be happy.
Yeah, need the odd boundary just to calm the nerves, I think, a little bit. We're seeing this a breakdown of Shimron Hetmeyer's innings, and Deepak Chahar is the only bowler who he didn't hit over a runner ball, and in some cases quite significantly over a runner ball.
Yeah, he did some damage to Jadeja in particular.
He did, yes. 4 huge sixes, 5 huge sixes. Oh, another slow ball into the pitch, which Hope swings through early on bottom edge past the stumps. Chahar's been unlucky in this spell. He had that catch dropped by Shreyas Iyer, who forgot to move 3 yards forward.
Yeah, that looked a bit wooden, didn't it?
That was a tired shot from Shai Hope. 4 runs off the over. India still in this game somehow. West Indies need 40 off the last 6 overs.
Crockett Yates must be having a conversation with Linux with Leah, who says, I've seen a flying pig in a quite convincing wig. Can't explain that one. Tony, any ideas?
No.
Nope.
Prospects of West Indies not winning?
Unless it's a Lennon quote that we're missing.
Yeah.
Yes, it could be.
Possibly.
I've seen a flying pig in a quite convincing wig.
Oh, with a crackling microphone as well, I'm afraid. So we lost some of that magnificence. No.
John Lennon's broken our mic.
Oh dear.
From beyond the grave.
Well, I think on purpose, yeah. To save us.
Yeah, we do have a change at the other end. Just the one over from Shivam Dubey, and from the Vipati Biraman end, bowling his penultimate over is this man.
No, it's not yet. Talk amongst yourselves. Oh, there he is. I've got him. Who is it?
It's the other opening bowler.
Excellent. Thank you for that.
Number 15.
I assume. Where is he?
You scroll past him. Number 15. Number 15.
Nish Shivadas has been in touch.
Oh, got him.
And whilst you're looking for that...
Oh, sorry. Found it.
Speaking of the Beatles, Shummy in full delivery at full pace. Pouring goes inside out, plays up to mid-off, who has a shy at the stumps. Shivam Dubey misses, but they take single. 39 needed off 35.
Binny Shivadas has been in touch on a quick tracker. I get my microphone sorted. He said the critical time India needs a captain like Dhoni, who was more intelligent. Interesting comment. I know how popular Dhoni is still as a captain,
particularly here in Chennai. Shummy into Hope, who flicks this in classic Caribbean style off his hips. That's a 1 bounce 4. It's very nearly carried for 6 all the way. At Shummy's pace, a little stray in line will open up a lot of the field, and Shai Hope relieves the pressure with a 4.
If you kids can't listen, then you bound to see the way you get shot for crossing a boundary.
Nice shot by Shai Hope. Shami not taking the pace off the ball. He doesn't bowl at the death very often for India, or really for anyone. And bowling at full pace gave Shai Hope the room he needed to work with. 35 needed off 34.
Wonder how different things might have been with Bumrah playing.
Well, indeed, all Bhuvaneshwar Kumar. Full delivery outside off stump. That's a lovely shot by Shai Hope. He opens himself out to guide it into the vacant point region, but there is a man at deep point. They just come through for a single.
I mean, this is, if Hope gets to a century in a winning cause, then he'll quite rightly be seen as one of the men of the match. It go to Hetmeyer.
Absolutely, Hetmeyer is one of the innings of the year.
Yeah, if Hope can see this through, then that's the best answer to anyone criticising his run rate today.
Arguably, if he'd been able to knock a few more singles around, West Indies could have done this way more easily. But yes, I take your point. Near Yorker on leg stump, Pooran clips it out into the leg side. They come through for a single with the boundary off the over. West Indies don't need to do anything silly here.
No, and he scored more runs than anyone in the Indian side did today.
Certainly
So,
true.
Yeah,
Certainly true. Context is everything, and when you win, many sins are forgiven.
success has many parents. Failure, many orphans.
Failure is an orphan, not has many orphans.
No, it was John Lennon. I was. John Lennon.
It's Mrs. Malaprop.
John Lennon.
John Lennon.
Yeah, he used to live next door to Mrs. Lennon.
As Shami is in penultimate ball of his penultimate over is clipped by Shai Hope, who takes the single out to KL Rahul on the deep square leg boundary.
If you can keep your head when all around are losing theirs, Tony.
Rudyard Kipling. Now,
Mr. Kipling.
Mr. Who's
does make exceedingly.
Hendo's a huge fan of his cakes. Probably less so of his poetry, or sort of more imperialistic outlook on life.
Right, Mr. Kipling, exceedingly racist poetry. 32 needed off 31. This has been a good over, 8 runs off it thus far. But Mohammad Shami can pick up a wicket here, then suddenly it makes things very, very interesting again. In he comes, a Yorker, which is clipped nicely by Nicholas Pooran. They might get 2, no, they'll just settle for the 1. And so 9 runs off the 45th over, West Indies 257 for 2.
And this reminds me of Derbyshire's match against Glamorgan last year, Tony.
It does indeed.
Facile run chase.
Oh, yeah. So, in which format? T20?
I can't remember. I just thought it would be
You're just
amusing.
making it up.
I am.
Testing my memory of slightly obscure county cricket games.
Well, long may they continue.
Well, absolutely. We
Under
shall be
the
addressing
threat
that on Gorilla Shire, I can assure you.
Of the 100. Yes, Gorilla Shire is the new county cricket podcast from Gorilla Cricket, hosted by Mr. Tony Bishop, conceived and hosted.
Indeed.
Well worth checking out on.
it's been
How do you
great
find the podcast, Tony?
You would go to your podcast provider.
Yep.
And,
It's on Podbean, it's on Spotify, it's on Apple Music, it's on Acast, and you can get the podcast before anyone else by becoming a patron at patreon.com/Gorilla Cricket. That also goes for our regular podcast, which I host.
That's called
the Gorilla Cricket Podcast.
So Gorilla Cricket Podcast and Gorilla Shire.
They go out on the same feed. Shivam Dubey is continuing bowling the 46th over. Pooran horribly mistimes this, and he's very lucky that the leg side field is so far back, because that didn't even clear the 30-yard circle.
He's lucky
they managed to get a single.
He's lucky that every single fielder on the leg side is on the boundary. Otherwise, someone could have caught that.
Incredibly badly timed, but the single is taken, and I don't think they'll care that much.
I mean, you make your own luck, but if Kohli's not putting anyone in at mid-wicket, then, without sounding like Bear, and I'm trying to.
Yeah. I mean, I understand where they were coming from. In fact, Shivam Dubey is, of course, replacing Deepak Chahar, so they're trying to string this out for as long as possible, India. That's full outside off stump, and Shai Hope plays a really arthritic-looking push into the offside, and it's fielded by Rohit Sharma. In the covers, they do not manage to take the single. There is no run.
Well, I don't know about you. I'll be breaking out, Tony, a red stripe if West Indies manage to win this.
Well, yeah. Again, they should. But there's the seed of doubt that is there says something about their occasional flakiness in the past, doesn't it?
Yes.
Dubey is basically bowling in 1 over spells to change the ends of the main strike bowlers. This is a good slow ball into the pitch from Shivam Dubey, and Hope is through the shot hopelessly early, and it bounces off his arm or something, and dribbles into the third man region. They come through. Oh no, it came off the bat, in fact, maybe off the glove. They come through for a leg bite. Sean George, I think, really wanted to signal the leg bite, but then decided better of it.
Oh, it was definitely bat.
West Indies 259 for 2, 29 needed off 27.
And I'm Shai Hope's biggest fan, but I do hope he doesn't slow down when he gets into the 90s.
He'll barely be moving if he slows
Well, I
down.
was gonna
Short
say,
fine
you're going
leg,
backwards.
backward point, deep point, mid off, mid on. Cover, mid off. Thrashed through the offside by Poor, and he finally times one. And hasn't he timed it well? Flashes past Rohit Sharma in the covers for 4. And the required run rate is now back under 6 and over. 25 needed off 26. Lovely shot by Poor, and charged at Deepak Chahar and smashed it away with lovely power and timing. Rohit couldn't do anything about that.
Hello,
Again, it was
Arsene Webb. Oh, sorry.
No, that's all right. I was just going to say it's a classic cricket shot. It wasn't a slog. He just used his feet and drove it away through the offside.
Better ball from Shivam Dubey, but they will take the single. Good stuff from Pooran. Dropped it in front of him and called Hope through for the single.
And this field is very, very deep set, isn't it? For considering they only need a run of ball, it's everyone they can put back, allowing for the fielding restrictions is back on the fence. And I just wonder whether a few more sort of one savers would it be?
Yeah, I think I understand. I mean,
What restrictions do they have?
I mean, the boundary that was hit was past a man not saving one. Almost at short extra cover. They're allowed 5 men out on the boundary. Good slow ball, a good cutter from Shivam Dubey that came in sharply to Shea Hope, and he defends it hurriedly off the inside part of the bat. They come through for the single, but that is 7 runs off the 46th over of Shivam Dubey's 7th. The 47th over the innings of Shivam Dubey's 7th. West Indies need 23 off the last 4 overs.
Yeah, so it's a run of ball, and it was going up mid wicket. Hello. Arsene Webster's been in touch again. Oh, for the first time. So good going, fellas. Are you talking about us, or are you talking about the Windies?
Or both.
But it could be both. And Ramesh Deval has been in touch with his telephone number. Not quite sure why. And Mohammed Javid has even longer telephone number. Missing something there. Why do people
Are you advertising to
messaging
several
numbers?
million people your phone number?
Why people-
Isn't there an element of risk in that? I mean, it's up to you, but I guess it depends how much you want people to ring it.
Well, wherever you are, you're hearing the finale of this match. Is going to be right to the end.
Another change of bowling at the Vipati Biraman, and Chahar and Shami are changing overs. That's outside off stump, and Hope pushes this into the offside. The man on the cover boundary fields. They come through for a single. 22 needed off 23.
Says, oh dear, bit of mic problem here. But Leah says she's never met South African. Why is that?
Oh, that's a song from Spitting Image.
Deepak Chahar, Fleming loves the sky. Deepak Chahar, he bowled a few sky high until they come down. He somehow bowled his way to success.
West Indies 266 for 2. Deepak Chahar 1 for 37 off his 9.1 overs. The entire leg side field in front of square is back. Deep square leg, deep mid wicket, long on. There's also a long off, a deep point. There's a cover, a short third man, a backward point, and a short fine leg. And they're right back on the edge of the circle, as you say, David, and it's very easy for Pooran and Hope, if they want to take the singles, and that's exactly what just happened. Pooran take the single, moves to 16. It's difficult for Chahar to restrict the West Indies with the field that he's got set. Maybe just bring them up 5 yards.
Yeah, it's ultra cautious, isn't it? And that caution is a risky strategy in this situation.
Well, one huge hit would just make such a difference, wouldn't it? But you need to have the ball to hit and the nerve.
I don't
think
I don't think they need it. I just think with their field as deep set as that, just push the singles and get them in ones.
Then
They
they'll
don't
have
need
to
a big
come in,
hit.
won't they?
I mean,
Eventually.
I mean, there's almost nowhere that you can bowl unless you bowl a Yorker, maybe outside or wide outside or something. You're not going to give away a single.
Lord.
Excuse the mic's troubles, folks. Patreon.com/Guerrilla Cricket, and let us
Buy us another mic.
That's outside off stump, and there is a dot ball on that occasion as Hope pushes it straight to Kuldeep Yadav at cover. There is no run. Pooran much more adept than Shea Hope at finding those gaps.
Unless John Lennon from Beyond the Grave is still successfully banjaxing David's attempts to murder his songs.
Try that one.
Leah.
Oh Lord!
Maybe the worst sound quality we've ever had on Guerrilla Cricket. There's a shortish mid-wicket in place, which is good news. Hope backs away outside, leg stump. He's got that high on the bat. I'm not sure where that's gone. It's gone straight back over the bowler's head for 6. There's that big hit you were talking about, Tony. 15 needed off 20.
Let's talk about 6. Let's talk about 6. Let's talk about 6. Let's talk about 6.
Shea Hope onto 97. That was a knuckle ball from Deepak Chahar. It was picked by Shea Hope, and he got it up, he got it over, he got it long enough for 6.
He picked his moment, didn't he, and picked it superbly. Straight as an arrow. Super shot.
Yeah, no fielders behind the bowler. Chahar bowling to Hope on 97. Short and pulled straight to the man at short mid-wicket. That's the 100 for Shea Hope. Gets there with a blast, a 6 and a 4. A rare blast of aggression from Shea Hope. 101 of 149 balls. 7 4s and 1 6. West Indies need 11 off 19. Shea Hope looking to bring his team home. That's his 8th 100 of his one-day international career.
20, 40, 60, 80, 100. Congratulations, sir. You are a centurion.
His 800 of his career, his 4th this year. Short ball, slower ball, pulled by Hope straight to Virat Kohli at short mid-wicket. There is no run, but an expensive over from Deepak Chahar. He bowls out 1 for 48 off his 10. 12 runs came off that over. West Indies need just 11 off the last 3 overs.
Well, it's been a fantastic innings by Shea Hope. He's answered his critics there by just upping the ante just when it needed with a straight 6 and then a 4. But he's just been patient, and he's shown that the virtues of sticking around, because it's the wickets in hand in the day that have given West Indies the platform to accelerate. They needed 2, only 6 and over, and looks like they're going to make a fantastic victory here for them, and sets up the series. But Shea Hope, now, yes, he's been criticised for slow scoring, but look at his runs aggregate. He's the 4th leading run scorer in ODI cricket in 2019, and that, for a West Indies side that's been short of runs for too long, makes a huge contribution to the side.
Certainly does, and well, the proof's in the result, as you say, if he's timed it right. And the fact that he was able to find that big shot, as I said, just at the right moment for them.
Dubé in flamingo pull by Nicholas Poor, and they're trying to finish this in a blaze of glory. That's pulled in front of square, deep square leg, can't come round. 4 runs.
And if you kids can't listen, then you bound to see the way you get shot for crossing a boundary, crossing a boundary.
The back leg came up there. There was shades of Kevin Peterson in that stroke from Nicholas Poor, who is a gloriously fluent timer of the ball when he's at his best.
Should be home and hose, shouldn't they?
Should be. 7 needed off 17. Wide outside off stump from Shivan Dubé, driven by Poor and out to the cover sweeper, who is Shreyas Iyer. How costly his drop of Shimron Hetmeyer on 106 was.
This is going
to give us something, apparently.
A lot of satisfaction to the leadership. Works. Yes, Puran, to Pollard and to Phil Simmons. I mean, in the context of the international game, I say this is going to be a huge victory for the new regime.
Certainly is. India did, of course, lose their last one-day international series at home. That series where Australia came back from 2-0 down to win 3-2. So India not as impregnable at home in one-day cricket as they are in Test cricket. Certainly, as Dubé is in, presumably to try and prolong the inevitable. He strays down leg, Hope clips him off his pads, and finds only a single to deep square leg.
Just a
reminder of something.
Yeah, poor old David. Pearls of wisdom being howled into oblivion.
Bark at the moon.
Barking at the moon.
David, he's given up with a mic that doesn't appear to want to talk to him. That's smashed over the top of mid off by Nicholas Poor, that's scores level.
The number of the day. Who could ask for more? The number of the day is
Length from Shivam Dubey, who has not covered himself in glory in his first outing with the ball in a one-day international. The slower balls from him just really haven't worked as consistently as he wanted to. There was a split finger slower ball that was in the slot, and Puran deposited it over the head of the man at mid off. 1 run left for the West Indies to win this first one-day international. In comes Shivam Dubey to Nicholas Puran. Short outside off stump, pulled over the head of mid-wicket. Puran finishes it with back-to-back fours. The West Indies have beaten India at Chennai by 8 wickets with 3 overs and 1 ball to spare. And for all that it looked like it might be tense in the end, that goes down in the book as an absolute walloping for India.
Yeah, they timed it just right. We were getting a little bit twitchy on the West Indies' behalf, weren't they? As they just seemed for a while there to get a bit mired. And they weren't quite sure if they wanted to go big or nudge the singles, and they just seemed a little bit indecisive, particularly after Hetmeyer went. But in the end, both Shai Hope started to accelerate. Puran did exactly what he was really sort of charged to come in and do. And they did it with time to spare. And I think overall, I don't think India bowled badly. They lost a bit of discipline towards the end, but not too much. I would say West Indies will be thrilled to bits, and any of their fans around the world will be. They were lucky, perhaps, in as much as they came up against an India team that had neither Jasprit Bumrah or who else were they missing?
Bhuvneshwar Kumar,
Bhuvi Kumar, of course,
injured on the eve of the series.
But you can only beat what's in front of you, and they've done it exceptionally well. So very well played to them.
Yeah, still had Shami and Chahal and Jadeja to Kuldeep and Jadeja to deal with. And I'm not sure any of them got a wicket, actually, any of those three. Deepak Chahar got 1 wicket, and Mohammad Shami did get the wicket. He got the wicket of Shimran Hetmeyer, but Kuldeep wicketless, unlucky but wicketless. Jadeja had his figures ruined somewhat by 4 huge sixes from Shimran Hetmeyer. India looked to bowl a light, in truth. Shivam Dubey and Kedar Jadhav bowled 8.5 overs between them for 79 runs.
Yeah, wasn't entirely convinced by Dubey, I've got to be honest. And Shami's not usually an ODI frontline bowler, is he?
Well, I mean,
you've got those other two.
I mean, he is. I mean, he's gone back into the ODI side kind of in 2019, but he's not usually a death bowler.
Yeah.
India used Bhuvi and Bumrah almost exclusively at the death. Deepak Chahar does bowl at the death quite a bit. They've used Kuldeep at the death quite a bit, but India are having to make do with what they've got. They do have options in the squad. They have Yuzvendra Chahal. I was a little bit surprised not to see the 2 wrist spinners playing in tandem. I think there's a case for playing all 3 spinners, all 3 of Chahal, Kuldeep and Jadeja. Really, obviously they're missing Hardik Pandya as well, who can give you a genuine all-round option. Vijay Shankar out of the squad, the seam bowling all-rounder who came in during the World Cup. I think India had a competitive score on the board. 287, I think, looked like a competitive total, but really once Hetmeyer got going, India just couldn't stop him, and then there was too much to do for the rest once Hetmeyer got out.
You look for big performances, don't you? And I don't think there'll be too much doubt about where the Man of the Match award is likely to end up. No. That was the big performance, and it was it's a terrific effort. And as David was always at pains to say when he had a mic that worked, it was quality cricket. It was stroke making. It wasn't just bludgeoning, and well worth watching. Good effort.
Yeah, it was a glorious innings to watch, full of wonderful stroke play offside and on his tick, so powerful off the back foot whenever the spinners drop short, as Jadeja did every now and again. His highest one-day international score, and it was a privilege to watch it. It truly was. We do have some final tweets to get through. Jen Rose says, is the Patha Biraman and a mini version of the Eyjafjallajökull volcano its own reward if you can pronounce it correctly? Chris the Choir says, we don't have the sound up for these Star adverts, but says, particularly a bizarre advert for Star in a cricket match in India. Mince pies accompanied by a brass band playing Fairy Tale of New York. Ravi Nair says, this one nearly done and dusted, and satisfactorily too, his words, not mine. When's the next one? The next one is on Wednesday, again at 7:50 a.m. UK time. Will be on air. That one is in Vizag, halfway up the east coast. Interesting to see what team changes India make. One would imagine that the West Indies, unless Evan Lewis is fit again, will be unchanged, but a few of us will be back for that. David will be back for that, Roger will be back for that, Tony will be back for that, as will I, and the Nigel the Bear Walker will be in. Thank you to David and his broken mic. Thank you to Tony Bishop. Thank you to Jason Hiscox. Thank you to Roger McCann, who joined us earlier, and Mashal St. Patrick Hewitt. Plenty of happy West Indians, a lot of thinking for India to do. Join us again, please do, on Wednesday morning at 7:50 a.m. UK time. We shall play you a theme tune, and we shall get out of here until next time. It's goodbye from everybody here at GorillaCricket.com. Yep. Bye-bye.
Guerrilla Cricket.